Pull the lever.
We are live.
We are live. It's alive.
Pull the lever.
Welcome back, everybody. So we, I guess we left off last episode with a few of the PCs encountering various other gladiators in the battle market. At the same time, there was some planning done to what everyone else is going to have been involved in during as the games occurred. So, with that being said, before we get too far into the actual, is there any point expenditures or anything housekeeping-wise before we start this shindig?
Brum would like to spend a point in I win.
As discussed with you, Mark, I am actually planning on spending 6 points for the Natural Caster 1 based off of the staff using the Ritual Path magic rules. Basically, he's got the magic item. I was initially planning on having it be part of the Naginata, but I suppose it could also make sense, like in some other capacity, like a saw glaive or something like that.
Could I increase my fearlessness advantage from level 1 to level 2?
Just be aware. Well, I guess you could. I have no problems with it myself. I'm just one of the things I noticed is be careful going too high, because even if your will your will isn't enough to make up for it, you're still going to be afraid at any roll of 14 or greater. So
okay.
you need to have that bravery, or it's either bravery or rule of 15 or whatever it is that actually allows you to succeed at a higher.
Well, having a higher fear check is still going to be good because it eliminates penalties.
Yeah, and it does do that.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't want to add a new advantage like that, but I think I will increase the fearlessness a little.
I mean, there's like so many ways to skin that cat, you know.
Because he's seen some poop now.
He's dropped some poop.
One-on-one with a Minotaur, and what was the other thing? Manticore.
Need another M word.
Medusa.
That'll work. That'd be the last one.
Myrmidon. All right, so
There are some people missing from this map, unless they're not supposed to be on there.
Well, yeah, there's people missing from the map. I haven't dragged them over onto the map for sure. It's more just let's see. I can throw some.
That's the PCs I'm referring to.
Right. They're not actually there.
The ones that managed to not get captured.
So has the crowd killed Smithers yet?
Oh, they're working their way to putting Herok down.
Really, I figured the stuff would kick off almost as soon as he went in there, because
pretty much,
this seems like a good idea. Let's trigger now.
Use this. Yep. So for those who had, so we've got. I know there's going to be some NPCs that are likely to be in play as well. So for those of you, I know for sure. What's his name? Aslam and Zayanra. They will be immediate of immediate assistance for sure. And then Jason, Basin Jorn is also available in the character selection. I even found a picture of Jason or Matt Damon with a beard.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. All right. So, with that in mind, so how that we're going to sort of resolve this is a series of skill checks. And
which we already made.
Well, we have the ideas that you guys are going to roll for. As far as I know, let's see, we've got getting Proximo to agree to provide the escape. So that would probably be some kind of social, a SOM, a sneak, or holdout, or whatever. Finn, either, yeah. Oh wait, we did do that.
We chatted with we did that last time.
So now it's so those are where you were able to build into your plan. Now you have to execute the plan. So
right. So where
the
are
players
we
are on the
coming
board?
in from?
I'm really going to kind of just play this by. It's more. Most of this is more if somebody fails a roll and forces a fight. Any conflict that occurs, I'm just going to generally do it real, as a one-on-one, or one on a couple. I don't plan on having, unless you guys make the entire fail of the whole thing. I don't really want to bring the whole gaggle of bad guys into the mix, kind of thing. So it might be like Thorn sneaking out but failing a stealth roll and ending up having to fight a one-on-one with Sergeant briefly, kind of thing. Or performing a skill challenge, and that can even just be or forcing a different skill challenge, like a straight up combat roll versus combat roll, and whoever wins it wins the, so do it as a quick challenge as opposed to a straight up fight, if that makes sense. Moans, groans, gripes, complaints.
I guess we'll see.
All right.
Let's rock.
Yeah.
All right. So since I have, let's see, how about we go with, let's see, where do we want to start? So Sistral's, everything's going to kick off with a slightly earlier with Herak just going, well, absolutely berserk, and running and getting lost into the crowd and creating havoc. Zistral, you were kind of running around the place, kind of helping to draw some of the guards' attention away from Herak. Some guards will ignore you, attempting to take out Herak, while there's other NPC guards and the like, trying to fight their way to safety or put the rampaging bull man down.
As people start to panic.
Yep.
And if you look up, you can see the big bad dude giving the solid head slap to his wizard.
Right.
It's like, really, dude? Really?
I was expecting to get them both, and they would have just fought to death. All right, so We'll start with Zistral. How many guards can Zistral pull away? So pick a skill, any kind of skill. Your goal is to evade them. Basically make them non-factors. That could be as simple as a stealth, running, dex.
Yeah, I was thinking
whatever.
Running. Since I am literally running.
Now, are you trying to get out of the arena, or just doing the merry chase throughout?
Merry chase until they start to get a little too close for comfort, and then I'll leave. So merry chase, but with one eye on the exit.
Okay. Whoa. Okay, so that's what we'll do here. Actually, I wonder if I could do it. I can't do a vote box, can I? With the I guess we should set the terms for success, shouldn't we?
One success before any failures.
Yep. So
yes,
exactly.
You should probably explain what the hell we're doing.
All right. So what we're looking at doing is a skill challenge. What that generally means is individuals will be either present their challenge that they have to overcome and the skill that they're choosing to use to overcome that challenge, and it will be based on success against potential penalties of bad. So the more crazy the individual's idea or the more risky, the more bad is implemented against it. I'm going to probably cap that at no more than -3 against someone's whatever skill. And so
that's not really bad, though.
Is that not really bad enough?
That's not how bad works.
Well, bad is makes it harder. So I'm not
but
going against you.
It's one number. It doesn't change unless it has to change.
If
you just want to penalize individual rolls, just penalize individual rolls.
Actually, that's an idea. We could start with a set bad, and then success. You can either attempt to reduce the bad or attempt to achieve your goal. Reducing bad helps everyone across the board. So things like that would reduce bad would be like taking out Farouk's guards, or heck, even taking out some of the guards would reduce bad. Blowing a hole in the wall to make it easier to get out might reduce bad. I would even say probably this distraction probably took it from the situation being bad 4 down to bad 3. What thoughts, moans, groans, gripes?
Works for me.
All right. So, and for the number of successes we have, I'm going to say you guys have 3 primary goals. So primary goal, get your PCs out. Secondary goal, get the Fail warriors out. Tertiary goal, get the slaves out. Correct?
So really, it's get everybody out.
Get everyone out, but each is separate. So what
that sounds about right.
So we have approximately 4 players. So I'm going to say
approximately
4 players right now. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5. Yes. Wait.
Math.
Yes,
is
5.
hard.
Math is hard. Math is
5. 3.
Hard.
There are 4 PCs.
And 4 is
1,
right out.
2,
5.
Or
5 is right out. Yeah.
Shame on you, Phil, for making Mark count.
Dude, I had to sit there and stare at my hands way too long for that. So we'll say does it sound unreasonable if we say 10 checks 10 successes before 4 failures?
Yep.
Well, it's always
Sounds hard.
depending on whether or not you're modifying it. It's always 3 failures, but yeah, you could do 10.
It does sound hard, but I mean, your rolls can be to reduce the bad. So everyone starts off minus Zistral with even if it was, he'd still succeed at a -3 to all your rolls until bad is reduced to 0, at which straight rolls will count.
I'm wondering if you can legitimately expect to get 10 successes before 3 fails, but yeah, maybe.
Alright, so what we will do is say that is how about that? Or you can do
And
that.
I'm assuming that we can use our aids
Yes,
in this.
correct. So
Yep.
it doesn't have to be Brum Rumley's roll. It could be Born's roll or Jorn's roll. It could be
His name
sorry,
should have been Bjorn.
It's Jason Mar, I guess.
It can change to whatever.
Yep.
It's totally Bjorn.
Josine Bjorn. So, and in fact, we will even say that Assam has to make a roll, Brum has to make a roll, Bjorn has to make a roll, Zistral. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That gives you 8. Eight rolls to make, and then a couple people get to make 2.
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll start with Aslam.
Oh, I thought we started with Zistral.
Oh, we did start with Zistral. Well, Zistral worked because he kind of was involved right away. So we'll go with Arn then, and we'll just work that way.
So the skill challenge isn't going to be. The skill challenge isn't going to be interrupted with combat, right?
A failed skill challenge might incur combat.
Because we could use the combat tracker, just hide all the red guys. Just click the little hide icon.
That's a good point.
There is a hide all non-friendly. You know that, hey? It's the little eye up the top.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yay! Yep, there sure is.
You learn stuff.
Learning is a thing.
May not need the Fire Warriors there as well.
Well, I could,
but
we could leave them in.
Maybe,
Oh, you know what? Actually, because Lanfan and Fire Warriors, so that's 10. That brings it to a total of 10. So I need to bring Bjorn.
So we just use the combat tracker starting with Zistral.
Yep. That should be everybody. It's just those guys out. Oh wait, am I missing somebody? Lanfan's not in there, is she? Ah, she's not.
You just
She
removed
is.
somebody.
You removed one of the... Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's Aramis, Zyrana, Thorn, Lanfan. Not Jason Bourne.
Yep. All right. So starting with.
I guess if
All
we're
right,
using
so-
the combat tracker, then Zistral just went
So that would mean Finn.
Right. So I want to make sure I totally get what I would like to do is I would actually like to use his leadership skill, but I am not trying to lead us. I am trying to quote lead the guards by sending them the wrong direction, just confusing the crap out of them.
Okay. Are you attempting for? So are you? So I would say that's potentially reducing bad for you guys. Sowing confusion.
Okay, theoretically, how is that going to affect
So
my role? Is it still not going to be?
It'll be in this particular case, I would see it as just a successful roll would just reduce bad.
But
it will be a minus 3. It will be a minus 3 because you still are fighting against the bad.
Okay. Now let's see if I can do this. I seem to have successfully done it. I added to the confusion.
Adding to the confusion reduces the bad.
Could we use complementary skills? So, in the case of Finn, if he had acting, could he make an acting roll to get a +1 on his leadership to pull it off?
Sure. Yeah.
If he had acting.
Yeah, I'll allow that. But whatever the official skill that you're rolling will be what is at the negative. Does that make sense?
Right.
Point of order, Aramis is not actually helping us.
Ooh.
How do you know? Maybe
doesn't
him
have
and
any
Art
reason
really
to.
hit it off.
I didn't realize he was in there. Alright. So, Cyanra, any ideas what she's going to...
Make heart eyes at Thorn.
Okay. Another point of order.
Okay.
Zianra is an NPC, and nobody is playing her.
You can play her.
Well, we haven't established that.
You player.
Yeah,
Who played her in the combat?
Yeah, you.
That
Phil.
was me.
Guess who's playing her now?
Well, but Daniel's desiring to buy her as an ally, so I would say...
haven't fully committed to that yet.
Yeah, but she's
I've
committed to you, so...
I've also got a second character already.
That's true. If you...
Even still, allies shouldn't be played by the player character.
Well, normally no.
So it should be anyone but Daniel.
I've never ever... Well, no, that's not the true. It's supposed to be played by the GM just like any other NPC, but I don't think we've ever done that.
This is true.
So she will, in this particular case, I'm going to say she's probably just taking a cue from Thorn and trying to remain stealthy. Does that make sense?
She doesn't necessarily have to roll separately, I suppose.
That's true. Maybe she could try to... No, wait. I don't know if that would work.
Just be considered part of Thorn's move.
Right,
she could assist.
I don't know if you can assist during a thing.
I actually don't know that.
I would say yes, you can assist, but that constitutes their turn in the skill challenge.
It doesn't necessarily count as a success or fail.
Well, if it's an assist, wouldn't it be a normal +1 for success, -1 for fail?
She attempts to keep one of her weapons on her but when they start the disarm process, then she succeeds. So if conflict occurs, she will begin with a weapon. As
The disarm process?
well, they disarm. You remember they disarm. This is some time after your fight.
Right.
Zistril's was the least fight. So what happened is after the fight, you guys they disarm you and everything else, and they put you back in your cages. However, Assam at some point snuck weapons only to Thorndil and the Fayette.
So this is a retroactive check.
Well, for her. And only
Yes. Okay.
Right.
That's
this
where I was
basically
going.
gives her a weapon if it's needed at some point. Does that help any?
Fair enough. Moving on. Okay, so overall goal is to get everybody out. Where the hell am I? Am I actually in a cell? What's the situation?
You're in a cell. Okay, you're in a cell. There are some guards. There's some of the guards kind of left the area when the commotion started.
They may have been ordered away.
But there's probably at least one or two, probably just kind of peeking down the hall, or it. You do know is. Hold on, let me draw. I get to draw circles. So that door and that door are kind of portcullises, like jail doors, grates, that kind of thing. And that room here is the disarming room, where they kind of take you in and they escort you out into this room and out that door, kind of thing.
It's the green room.
It's your airlock kind of thing. It's also got they can poke, stab, and throw whatever killing implements in at you if you don't comply.
Okay, so we are currently in cells
Your
and
compliance will
locked.
be rewarded.
You are in a locked cell.
Okay, so
Assam has passed you at least a small bladed weapon of your choice and some lockpick.
do any of the other prisoners here know how to use lockpicks?
Not that you're aware.
Okay. Then what kind of... We're in a hurry, aren't we? Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pull that off.
Don't worry about time. Time is not an issue.
Well, it is an issue.
No, because this is not happening in seconds. This is happening over time.
Right, but there's a finite amount of it.
Don't worry about it. How long does it take to pick a lock? 10
let me
seconds?
explain then, because the situation is if I can take 30x times to get a full +5, then anybody else can probably do the same thing.
Well, what is 30x?
So I don't know what the base time is on lockpicking.
1 minute.
So 30 minutes.
Wow, really?
You don't have 30 minutes.
It's 1
At
minute
most, I have
minus...
Hence the question.
Okay, so that's a valid question. It makes sense in that regard. You probably have about but that's why also we're kind of so you have no more than say 5 minutes.
Okay, that would be good for a +2. 2.
Sure. So that will counter out the bad. So you're at straight.
Only a little. And yeah, I'm not that good at it, so chances are pretty good I'm going to fail.
Yeah, but I managed to reduce
Even if
the bad to 2. So,
yeah. And even if that's the thing.
Okay.
Even if you fail, you only add a failure to the mix.
Well, I realize that. And in this case, it could be that I would succeed eventually, depending on how badly I fail. Assuming I do. Well, I'm going to go ahead with it because somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, he's absolutely convinced he's going to fail this. Here comes a 3.
I think
how you roll
everybody
3 dice and
here
got a
will.
2.
I think everybody here will understand if I am a little pessimistic about die rolls.
Why?
don't know
Your
what you're talking
name
about.
isn't Carrie.
All right. Well, at least I have equipment for it. So my role will be lockpicking, and I have done the stuff, and just barely made it.
But you made it.
But I made it. So that is a success.
All right.
And we are free, or I am free, and I will go about freeing everyone else.
So Zyrana's didn't count then.
Lanfan. All right. Arn or Ethan, what's Lanfan doing?
Let's
Murdering some people.
She's
That's
also
kind of what
in
I
the
was
prison.
thinking.
I mean-
Just being sneaky and taking out key members of their command structure, like not the leaders, but like, hey, this
Well,
sergeant who's trying to lead this effort.
She's
he
in
goes.
a cell right now, but
Oh,
that
okay.
could be she lures him over and chokes him out. You know,
Yeah.
it could be anything
She
like
does
that.
that. Hey,
Yes.
big boy.
So that would
Sexy
be
good
sex
times.
appeal? She doesn't seem like a sex appeal person to me.
Does she have this skill?
Probably uses
She's
it.
attractive.
Actually, does anybody in the group have that?
Actually,
I don't know.
Apart from Yusuf.
Yeah, he did.
I would say
Of course
she
he
can
did.
use acting in that regard, plus her
Yeah.
appearance.
Does she
Go
have
for the
rousing.
old,
She has
go for
acting,
the old I'm
rousing.
sick thing.
Yep, any kind of way you want to present
Yeah,
that.
if you're trying to do the sick thing, that'd definitely be bleh, acting.
It doesn't have to be like hard and fast. If you have it, it's better. You know. So we'll need Lanfan.
Sex appeal defaults to health -3.
All right, you find Lanfan.
So probably want acting.
She should be free for you to select. Ethan.
Yeah, I just picked her up.
He picked her up.
I'm
Relax.
sorry. I'm not. I was looking in the wrong spot.
Uh-huh.
I was.
Nope.
Okay.
Ruh-roh.
She plays sick, and the guard doesn't give a crap.
Which is kind of fair enough. You know, there's chaos. The last thing he'll be thinking about is his penis.
True.
She was playing sick. Why would that be involved?
He's a bad guy.
Alright, Basin Jawn. He's going to...
Kill a guy with a magazine. Or maybe a plate.
A pen.
Oh, he's going to drive a cart down through here. You know, a really narrow cart.
He agrees that,
don't think that works.
Finn, his tactics of sowing confusion is working. So he will move somewhere else. So he's going to...
Somebody's got to blow stuff up, by the way.
Well, it's entirely possible
Saying.
he's not where we're at. He could be off in a different area. In fact, it might actually make more sense for him because he doesn't necessarily want to be identified as working with us.
Right. But he sees it's working, so he's going to do an acting roll as a complementary skill, and then he'll be using fast talk to say, they're over there, the bad guys are over there, I saw them go around that corner or whatever. And just Discord for the purpose of reducing bad.
Sounds like a plan.
You'll have to make the rolls because I don't know.
Should be available in the character.
Okay, I'll pick him.
I would feel terrible if I rolled a failure for you guys. That
is a very cool picture. The avatar pic.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised I found one with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon!
What is that from, though?
Oh, Great Wall.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense now. That was a terrible movie.
I haven't seen it.
All right. His acting is bad. That was the complementary skill. So it'll be a total of -5 on his fast talk.
Oh no! They've gone around the corner.
Because the bad's at -2 right now.
So it'd be -4.
Right. So roll a 3.
The fighters went over. I mean, the slaves. The slaves are getting out.
Yeah, you're wondering about Daniel. You were saying somebody needs to. Damn it! Somebody needs to do the explosion. That's clearly going to be Arn.
All right, NPC.
Okay,
so he will not reduce bad, and it will not affect your success fails. Unless you think that would.
Not to screw over the party here, but I think if you are attempting to lower the bad and you fail, you should probably raise it.
Ooh. But it doesn't count against your success fails. How about that?
Still, yes.
Okay, so...
Yeah, that works.
Whose side are you on, Daniel?
He's on Daniel's side.
So bad should go up to 3 again.
Yeah, bad went to 3. But
I am on nobody's side because nobody's on my side.
All right, Brum. He will also be attempting to reduce bad. He'll be doing it with a complementary skill. He's going to use tactics to try and evaluate the situation and form a sort of tactical exit of this place where we exit in good order from a defensive position and such.
I like it.
He'll be using stealth as a complementary skill because he wants to do it in such a way that we can extract ourselves mostly unnoticed. So he'll be using dark corners and stuff like that.
I will also allow shadowing if you wanted to use that instead. Okay. He found some that
was the complementary skill.
That was the complementary. So that will be
-2
on bad.
-2, yeah.
All right, so just awesome. Okay, so just something to note is you guys do have to. The slaves are not in this particular thing. So if Assam wants to be like freeing the slaves, somebody has to do something that actually involves freeing the slaves. Does that make sense? And be specific, saying this guy is doing XYZ to free slaves or XYZ to free the field. Because remember, those are still goals of yours. So getting yourselves out is goal 1. But, you can succeed. But if no one says, oh, and I freed the slaves, does that make sense?
Well, Brum has...
well, he's created he's created your exit plan.
He set up the exit plan. So, and I'm assuming where I've marked the circle is our intended exit.
Okay. All right.
Damn, I don't know what I'm going to do when it comes around to my turn again.
So if the Fail are actually out now, having if Thorn's been able to get out, and
They are taking out one of the guards in the hallway.
so they're going to be all over the guards in there.
However, it's going to be a little tougher fight.
Unless they use stealth.
I guess I could have done that. So they will succeed in bringing. They're going against Bad to make sure that Thorn has a clear path to free the other fighters. So Lon Fawn and Sayana. So ultimately, that will work out as they will create a distraction, reducing guard count, reducing.
Imshi.
So the Bad is down to 1.
2.
No, because
Brum was going
reduced
against
it.
Bad?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Did the Fail?
So
they succeeded.
They were going against
Yeah,
Bad.
yeah.
Okay.
They're reducing hostiles.
Okay. What is so Bad should be 2 right now.
Should be 1.
No, it should be 1, yeah. Because
Fail went against and Brum went against.
Yeah, but Brum failed. Oh wait, no. Never
It
mind.
wasn't Brum that failed, it was not Jason Bourne.
Right. Oh, so Brum was going against Bad?
Yes.
Okay, who's going to go actual successes so we can get out?
No, Brum's counted for success.
I am.
Reducing bad is good because it means our subsequent rolls are better.
Yeah, but
Yes.
at some point we're
Solid
going to have
strategy.
to actually start rolling.
That's what I'm used-
Mine did count against that, I thought.
Yeah. It
Okay.
does. PCs only.
Rule.
Okay.
Does
Let's go.
going for Bad affect the successes for the overall skill challenge? I thought you said that it would
It
not.
reduces the penalty.
Oh,
No,
how about we
you're
just
not understanding.
Allow a vote. I see what you're I see your point. I'll allow you guys
It's-
to decide. I'm not.
I
don't have-
thought that you
Yeah,
had said that it was either going to be against Bad or it was going to be against the skill challenge
or
successes.
go for
and would-
success. Yeah.
And
I see.
in
I
which
didn't catch
case
that.
it'd be 2 of 10.
Yeah. So X's are it goes only against bad, right?
That's what I
Yeah,
assumed.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
we
So
can't
that's it. All
double
right.
dip.
Okay, no problem. The note, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Still solid
that works.
strategy.
just to make things, irrelevant. So
Okay,
it's
so
2 of 10.
It is at
2 of
2.
10 fails 1 of 4, Bad -1. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Growing pains. Arn, what's Arn doing? Is Arn going to for against the successes of or trying?
Yeah, he will attempt to.
Remember, you have to. You're kind of picking one of 3 goals that you're. Well, really one of 2 because
they're really all the
Daniel.
same goal.
Yeah, but somebody has to focus because the slaves are not here. So if you do, it is. But yeah,
All right, he will attempt to go free the slaves by using Shatter on the cage locks.
all right.
Solid.
I have a -1.
So that's probably going to be the externals,
Right.
the external doors.
Or at the slave pens kind of thing, wherever that might be.
Yeah, if they're locked in cages, Shatter to get the
All right.
Shatter on the locks.
Right,
If
well-
it's on the actual door, just blast the door open with Shatter, etc.
Arn wasn't actually in the area with the cells.
Yeah.
And-
Don't just pick. Yeah, just because
It's have to make their way there.
Yeah,
Well,
just because I have
and-
your tokens in the battle mark doesn't necessarily mean you're in the battle mark. You could be spread out throughout Kelmarine right now.
And I was going to add that somebody's already going back and forth with the picks and opening the cells. So
Yeah, but the
It would
slaves
make
aren't
sense.
where
Somebody's got to open the other doors. The
Thorn
external portcullises. Well, I was just, if he's going to break the locks on them, that would be a good target for it.
All right, taking my cue from the Fael. Actually, no. If I do what they did, that would be reducing the bad, not adding success.
You're still charging around in the middle, right?
Well, I was going to be charging around in the middle until I saw an opening to conveniently lose the guards.
You call what you can make it up. You could say, hey, right. I see some of these guys, I knock them out of the way and create a...
What I'm looking for is like a slave master, someone who's guarding slaves, and I'm going to spear him and encourage the slaves to scatter.
All right, so you're
or take up arms if they're strong enough.
Okay, so at some point, if I understand you correctly, at some point you're planning on taking out some slave guards and preventing them from being gathered back up by killing them. So, all right, so you will. All right, so.
Oops, we both advanced it.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. So I guess it's on me.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
So crap.
And you can just say, "I cast a spell, to help these guys." It doesn't really. It's just really, are you trying to do the successes or against bad kind of thing? And
let's see. I think I'm going to use the innate attack beam to basically sort of do like what Arn is doing, but against different set of locks. So that's going to be trying to. Let's see. He's concentrating on getting, I guess, the slaves out. So I was like going for the outer doors or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see if
melting the locks kind of thing.
Yeah, well, figures. Wait, that's magic. Yeah. Doesn't really
it's
count as magic. Not in this case.
Well, it is.
Well.
It would be a magic thing. Okay, so what happens is you start to cast, and because you're you're noticeable. A couple guards interrupt your attempt, causing you to have to kind of flee down one corridor and come at it from a different direction.
Right.
I don't know if what would she be doing?
Well, this isn't looking good.
You're fine. Let's see. She will search for a set of keys on potentially the guards. Search is a what?
Probably just do perception for that. Search is for finding things that are hidden.
Oh, okay. Unless you guys have some idea for how you would see her interfacing here.
Perception works.
That's just mine. I don't want to penalize you for my rules. That's terrible.
Well, NPCs don't count towards failures, so...
True.
Oh, is that a rule now?
They can only go after bad, and they're.
Are we building the rules as we go? Is that how this works?
Well,
probably.
Okay, so the NPCs can't, go, unless.
All right.
NPCs can go
officially don't affect the actual successes.
Success or fails, but they can go against bad. So,
which means that bad just went up.
right. She comes to realize that, whoever left the keys were, one of the guards tossed the keys onto the other side of the grates, before he, ultimately went down under the attacks of the Fire Warriors. The guard was smarter than he looked.
He was that guy who was trying to get the card away from Darth Vader at the end of
Exactly.
World War.
Crap.
Now, I'm also presuming we shouldn't be using the same skill, whatever, twice.
Correct. Not the same PC. So, exactly. You can do a same skill that somebody else used, as long as you haven't used it.
Now I'm noticing how low all my freaking skills are.
But if you can come up with any reasonable ideas,
okay,
it doesn't have to be, like, oh, I need to get out of this door. Well, if you don't have lockpick, well, maybe you use strength. Maybe you, the keys, you can see them. Maybe you use some kind of, we try and grab them, or, that kind of thing. Whatever. Melt them.
Okay.
Lever the windows off or something. The hinges. You can be as cinematic as all you want.
We need to get into the room there where everybody's weapons and gear are, so we can get that stuff out.
Okay.
On the way. So, I'm thinking there's a gap at the top of the portcullis.
Okay.
And I'm going to use climbing and get through it.
Well, to be fair, this place is pretty crappy, so
all right,
that's totally believable.
Well, I'm thinking it's got like the tall arched entryway, and the door doesn't go all the way
and
up.
This place is also run down.
But there is also that. So, yeah, I'll be doing the Assassin's Creed, jumping off the damn pillar things and shooting the gap.
Jumping puzzle.
Would that be acrobatics or would it be climbing?
Your choice.
Maybe acrobatics enhances your climb.
I can live with that.
That's the kind of stuff Brian was doing.
Yeah, I'll allow. I'm rooting for you guys, just so you know. Hey,
ooh, buddy. Well, I only have to succeed by a little. All right, he shoots the gap. He gets inside. We start passing around everybody's gear.
And you go, oh, hey, there's a thing to open the door.
You're not going out the door you expected to, but,
I got the red key card.
All right, lawn fun.
Lawn fun.
You guys cleared the hallway. You're in. You've got all your weapons. To make things harder, no one has. The locks are more complicated than you expected, and the keys are on the other side. Just on the out of reach or out of physical reach of.
We had Arn actually broke the locks on the
slavers.
One of the slaver. Yeah. So we should be able to get out.
Lawn Fawn has lockpicking. She can use it.
Do we need to lockpick anything?
That's up to you. You guys need to use lockpick.
So
you've achieved getting your weapons. I mean, you got weapons now, so you could probably hack the door down. You could,
What did she use last time? She was acting. She could probably get away with using She could probably get away with using stealth here and do a stealth kill on a guard.
Use stealth as the modifier to an attack.
Yeah, let's
Well,
go with that.
if you do stealth right, you're gonna win the attack.
Alright, then attack. Oh, forgot to include the bad, so that fails.
No, aren't we at bad -1?
No,
Unless
because
it was
somebody
bad, -2.
failed and it went to 2.
Then Mark should update the bad in the skill challenge note.
It is updated. Oh, that's skill challenge note. Yeah, that's mine.
It's the last GM entry up there had it too.
Crap, we got one more fail before
Yeah.
everything goes to shite.
Well,
Then things start getting interesting.
then things start getting interesting.
Alright, so Basin Jawn, he's going to use interrogation. He's going to corner one of the guards, get into his face and say, "Give us the informations."
Doesn't really make any sense.
Well, where is all the slaves? Where are the keys? Give us information that we need.
So, you're wanting to interrogate somebody to get information about
Useful information like where are the slaves kept?
who
Who has the keys to the slave pens?
out of here.
We already know all those things.
Yeah, you have most of that. So it could be that what's the safest route out? Is there what are the is there a secret way in? Probably something more along those lines. Because you have Arn, who's already broken the locks on the slave pens.
Alright, so then he'll be asking information like who's in charge here. So we could target their leadership and
Well, you could use it instead of a interrogation. Even he could be, since Bjorn is predominantly against bad, his could be. Option could be he brings his guys again. Convinces the people he's working with to kind of fight some of the other guys to reduce the
With
threat
interrogation?
elsewhere. With interrogation, trying to think what would it.
he can use
It really-
propaganda.
It
He
really
has a
doesn't
skill
make
propaganda.
No, that takes too long.
Well, we're just trying to
If you're
trying
gonna
to
do
think
that,
how it
just
would.
use, if you're gonna do that, just use fast talk.
He's already used fast talk and failed.
Well, then don't do that.
Was it fast talk?
Yeah,
Oh,
he used
yeah, that's right,
acting
they went that
to
way.
bump his fast talk.
That's right.
Alright, well then he's just going to engage some guards.
Oh, well, actually, you can use the intimidate to, scare the guards, that kind of thing. Make them.
That's
run away from
different.
you.
Alright, he just engaged some guards.
All right,
So
reducing
that
bad.
reduces the bad. So I do have an interesting question there is, can we attempt to remove a fail instead of gaining a success.
Sure, why not?
I mean, I don't know if it'd be worth
Yeah, no,
it, but
well, I mean, that's the thing is, if you succeed, it reduces your fails, but if you
probably
fail,
not.
it increases your fails.
Yeah, that
But I don't see any
that
problem
wouldn't
with
make
it.
any sense in retrospect.
Well,
All right,
I mean,
Brum.
it's correcting. Yep, Brum.
Brum will be using intimidation, and he's going to hand solo it versus the stormtroopers on the Death Star. Just charge them, screaming, get them to run away, giving our guys a little bit of breathing room. So he'll run into the room full of stormtroopers, chasing him down the halls.
Gotcha. Are you going for successes?
Intimidation. This will be. I guess this will be to reduce bad, since he's trying to scare away bad guys from the area.
Okay.
Failed by that much.
That one.
Good thing is it doesn't count to the failures.
Correct. But they kind of start to rally and move in your direction. That kind of thing.
Well, it's like the remake of Star Wars or New Hope, where he runs into the room and it's just full of stormtroopers. Whereas in the original, there was only like a couple.
But it'd be fair to say the NPCs generally can pull the similar actions because they have limited abilities.
So really could just leave them out.
Or we skip, or they can be skipped. I'm trying to think. Trying to think how they would use stealth in this particular. Actually, they use that, so they engage in some. Yeah, because they now have some weapons available to them. They grab some spears and attack some of the guards, trying to reduce their numbers.
Didn't we already do that?
Well, they use broadsword. Technicalities.
that's a cheaty one, but okay.
Well, we're making this shit up as we go, so.
Create an opening. Actually, can the NPCs go against the failed rolls? Failed rolls would be, again, bad increasing.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either.
Alright, Arn. I actually have no problem with going against the fails, because if you think of it would be like...
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Well...
If you succeeded on it, you would have succeeded anyway. You might as well get a success.
Oh, well.
And if you fail on it, it was actually wasted. Unless it counts as an actual fail, in which case, that's another fail.
Right,
it doesn't serve any purpose.
Okay, if that's what you guys want.
But the NPCs don't count towards failures. So they can either reduce bad or perhaps reduce failures.
Ideas? Thoughts?
NPCs are kind of a risk-free role.
Yeah, NPCs are your risk-free. Now the only risk they can do is if they fail to reduce the fail, they just increase the bad.
I think having the NPCs involved here is probably overcomplicating the situation. They probably shouldn't be a part of it at that level.
Unless they're named, I sort of agree with that. Because otherwise, it's just free rolls.
But they are helping. I mean, they're
yeah, well,
bad.
they're a part of the thing. I mean,
That's
they're
kind
a part of what we're doing.
Right, and that's kind of why or their rolls give you bonuses to your rolls.
Well, you could just
what I'm
have
trying
them,
to do is make them relevant. That's
could have
the key is.
You could have them give us a bonus without even bother rolling.
What would you guys prefer?
I mean, if
keep going the way we've been going.
All right.
That's my opinion. It seems to have been working so far.
Okay. Arn.
All right.
What did he do last time?
He shattered the locks on the slave pens.
Was that only a round ago?
Yeah. For Arn, yes.
Well, at this point, everybody in the pens are free, and now they are geared up, and now we have to actually exit the building.
Now it's like,
I'm gonna raise the portcullis with my strength.
oh, there you go. I like that.
Then if let's see. Can I he's gonna raise the portcullis. Where can I see can I identify where the greatest direction the foes are coming from?
Imagine in this particular case it's kind of a bunch of little mini vignettes. So very many scenes that you create.
Well, no, I know, but essentially I'm trying to identify where the guards, the slavers will be coming from, because I want to try to throw a force dome and block their path to buy us time to lift the portcullis.
Yeah, so that's all you would really do is like you're trying to see where the mass are, so you're going to drop a force dome, either trapping guards from or preventing guards from getting to you, creating, delaying their actions, that kind of stuff. I mean, just as easily you could have thrown darkness, you could have thrown exploding fireball, sleep, however you see Arn interacting in a way that makes it, your chances of success overall work. But yes, that's your force dome thing I can see it working.
Yeah.
All right.
I go over to the big wheel that's meant to be turned by two people and crank it.
Okay, wait. Why is it 6 of
Because it was
so what
Arn,
was Arn's?
and then Arn's
What did Arn do?
basically blocking the bad guy, creating an avenue of escape by using
So
judicious use of force domes.
was that an actual success then?
Yes.
Then we should be at 7 of 10, not 6 of 10.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, but didn't Arn reduce bad?
No, he was going for...
went for an actual success this time.
Okay.
My bad. My
yeah.
window was missing some text.
I am trying to figure out how to utilize tactics in this regard. I can't use leadership.
Tactics, you came up with this is our escape route?
Yes, I guess. That seems like the
this is where we'll...
Right.
Yep. And we'll ambush them here to create a distraction. Any way you can come up with an idea that
okay, so if he wasn't back there with the slave pens, he might have been out there. So Zistral speared some guys that were keeping watch on the slaves. If Finn sort of tactically directs them in a particular direction in order to cut off visibility or something like that. set up a screen.
And don't worry too much about time, because I mean I know Finn takes time to build up spells, but I mean.
Well, if I was gonna do the spell thing, he's actually I'd actually replaced my distant blow things with flash, basically the flash spell on some rocks, so I could like toss it and it flashed. And remember that sucked.
Oh
That
yeah.
was resisted,
Oh yeah.
their health versus my roll.
I'll even allow diplomacy to have created allies or sow dissent. You know, hey, these guys are,
Well, in this case,
we're
I
not
think
the
it is
biggest
going to
bet,
be
yeah.
for it is going to go for the tactics thing. Is like trying to find a choke point. It's like
Well-
see how it's developing, and then maybe shoving some barrels to redirect some people.
Gotcha.
Knowing that you have flashbangs, the tactics would be a good role to place them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or toss them. Yeah. That's.
Or
the thing.
you can use the flashbangs and then add to your
Ooh.
that. Or yeah, I would say you could cast flash to improve your tactics roll. By the hair of your chinny chin chins. Okay.
Almost there.
Yep.
So she's a bad reducer.
She's a bad girl.
Okay, so at some point, she gets cut off from the group and takes a couple slaves and stealths down an alley to try and she tries to draw some guards off down an alley by and hiding. So she tries to reduce bad using stealth by drawing guards off down an alley and then disappear.
Where's this alley?
You guys are traveling
outside
you guys,
of it's in Kelmarine itself.
Are we already outside?
Don't think of it as necessarily being
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
It's
abstract.
fine,
it is kind of
Yeah,
abstract.
well-
It got to be.
Yeah, it's hard to read the situation.
Catch up, Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not catching up. There's nothing to catch up with.
Yeah.
Well, we're making the situation up as we go.
Exactly. And not
You can do that too.
communicating everything. I don't know where we are, so we're outside.
Okay.
We're all over the place.
Yeah. So Arn has been doing most of his. Arn, Brum, and Basin Jorn have all been kind of doing stuff on the outside, predominantly. Finn has kind of been doing both. You guys have he's had a pre-planned escape route using his tactics that you guys utilize that route to execute on. Zistrel started off inside, fought a few dudes, and then used his strength to create a hole through the door, keep pinning the doors open so everyone could escape out of the battle market. While during the whole scene, Thorndale was picking locks, opening doors, and getting people into the weapons locker. Lanfon has just really been having a bad go of it.
No, I get all that, but we were all inside the battle market, so when Zistrel opened the door to get out, that's fine, but it hadn't actually gotten. I didn't know that we had actually exited the building.
Well, that would be
That's up to whoever comes next.
Yeah.
Which is fine if we did. That wasn't communicated. Okay,
Yeah,
so
well,
if we're outside the building, now we're out so we're looking at the wrong map now.
It's up to the decision of whoever comes next what they want to do. If they want.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. I mean, the map might give you ideas of what you're doing.
Well, that's specifically what I'm looking for. Is ideas about what we're doing.
Or give you ideas. That's what I mean.
Damn, you've already used climbs, so much
make
for
up
climbing
what we're
down the
doing.
side.
Oh, hold on. Here's her stealth roll at a -1. She's like a ninja. She drew a bunch of She guards off you guys, so bad is at 0.
Okay.
Good, because I'm out of stuff that's at 18.
18. The highest stuff I've got is 15.
That's all I got left. It's 115 and then 12 and 13 after
I
that.
already used the 15. No, wait. I'll use savoir-faire military.
Might work.
Okay. So we're out in the town now and attempting to get out through our predetermined routes, which Finn had previously specified. Right. And now no, that one's a bit too low. I don't trust that. Would have been nice if I had been actually thinking about that before I got there. I had not actually used stealth yet. I'm going to use stealth.
Okay.
I had bonuses on that, didn't I? I don't remember. I'm just going to use it. It'll probably be fine. Okay. So it's sort of a group stealth roll here, trying to get everybody out without getting spotted. Get us down the sides of the cliff sides.
Well, I don't think Lanfant should be our final roll, just because she's the.
It's gonna be Brum, and that is so bad. That is one of those where it is a win or fail.
Well, he hasn't done any. I don't think Brum has done a straight attack.
He hasn't, but if he does a straight attack, the chances are he's going to succeed. I don't want that.
What? I don't want Brum to make the roll either.
So is Brum making this roll?
Well, that's it. Aslam, if he's doing anything, can he reduce the bad to negatives?
No.
No.
Well, I guess you could make it positive bad, so you get pluses.
Then it's not bad anymore.
That's good.
Yeah.
Change it to good.
Actually, I can't recall if bad can be positive. I think it may be possible.
Yeah,
Well, bad is basic abstract difficulty, so if the difficulty could be easier, that will give the NPC something to do.
Yep. There you go.
Basic abstract difficulty.
That's what bad is.
That's it. Yeah, it means that.
It's hilarious.
Have you read that in Action 2?
I have.
No.
You should look at that. It's actually very useful.
Cool.
Alright, so it's Aslam's go.
Oh, well. I put him away because he was an NPC.
Alright, let's see. Well...
Now I want to know what the hell he can do.
He's going to,
Reopen to see what he can do.
wondering if survival or navigate, give you guys a path out.
If he's good at survival, he could give the slaves some tips before they scatter to improve their chances of survival.
Oh, yeah.
You could give him area knowledge of this area. This is since he'd spent so many weeks here. It's kind of that's a possibility.
Area knowledge.
Go to the
Survival.
river and split up.
Survival's not bad. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, he had preset a bunch of water and food supplies for everyone.
Cool.
So now our bad is +1.
Lanfan's turn.
Oh God.
Good.
Lanfan counts as an NPC in this. Yeah?
She should, since she's not really here.
Well, if that's the case, then the bad is going to change to -1 again, and we're only going to have 1 fail.
What?
Because 2 of the 3 fails were Lanfan fails.
Were they?
Yeah, acting and then an attack.
She's a PC though still. She's not a non-player character.
Can't retcon.
Just because the player isn't here doesn't mean it's a non-player character.
That's true.
Well, then it's up to Lanfan to either succeed or fail. You guys are lucky because
Actually,
You were
that's
going to be a
interesting.
dick.
I wasn't going to be a complete dick, but I wasn't going to make it
A little bit
a
of
sure
Actually-
victory.
No, that isn't quite a retcon because I was going back counting. So she did a stealth maneuver to do to modify her
Stealth
attack
maneuver
roll.
to modify an attack and failed because
Right,
he didn't
but
have the proper bad on there.
but if you look, it would have been a bad -2, but she should have had a +1 for the stealth, which would have still been a success by 0.
Either way, moving on. Lanfan, do your stuff.
All right.
All right.
So actually, that is it really would have been. All right, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. I have an idea what I want to do.
Can't be an attack. And it can, if you know, it can be a straight attribute roll if I can't think of anything straight up. She hasn't used climbing.
Oh, yeah, she could totally do a group climb thing there. Help everybody get down the side.
I was thinking camouflage, hide folks.
Well,
That's,
you rolled.
As camouflage goes, or
All right, Brum. What was Brum gonna do?
Well, first up, Basin Jawn
I
was
want to know.
That was 10.
I want to know what Brum was gonna do.
Basin Jawn was going to I can't remember what he was going to do, but Brum was going to use his crossbow, which is only a skill 13, and he was going to snipe or counter snipe a Kalmarani sniper.
All right.
I'll roll in retrospect. And he would have succeeded.
There's a Wilhelm cry as a sniper that was aimed at the back of Proximo's head goes down. All right.
And Brum will just wink and thumbs up to Proximo.
All right. So after
The battle market's in pure chaos.
it is in
People have
chaos.
died.
I mean, there's
That bull is still running around butchering people.
And the fat guy is probably dead.
fat guys.
Oh
dead.
no, he bailed.
Yeah, he did a magic kind of bail, and one of the things that you guys noted is from his booth is there, or at least Finn would have noted, was as he started to channel his magic, you notice he pulled in more magic than was possibly needed for a simple teleport kind of thing. His guardian
would Finn actually note that, or would
your
it be
majory
more like Arn?
or Arn.
The majory is different.
Okay.
You've got to make it a slave girl has wrapped a chain around his neck and he's choking him in the chaos.
Damn it.
That's a good one.
And he kind of does this, kind of pops out of existence, but there's kind of this magical. Arn witnesses this weird magical backlash that causes an explosion within the battle market. Finn,
I presume
however,
everybody notices that.
Oh yeah, I mean it only added to the chaos in general that
It
was
went
going
kaboom.
on. Finn, you notice Jadira making her escape out of the battle, the area, and she notes and kind of sees you and your group as you guys are leaving, and she gives you that, I'm sure, I'm sure we'll meet again. She doesn't.
Which one was Jadira?
She was the Yanti pureblood.
Oh, the snake lady. Oh crap! I don't want her as part of my harem because I don't like snakes.
No. She's more of the. You have an itching feeling that you may see her again.
He has an itching feeling.
Or
I didn't think he was in there that long.
Let's see.
I've never even met the lady.
Well, you don't know who she is, but she looks at you and your group as you're kind of exiting, and she notes, she takes note of your association with the escapees, and you just take note of her taking note.
If anybody's taking note of the escapees, we did something horribly wrong.
Well, she takes note, but she doesn't seem to draw anyone else's attention to it, which is what makes the hairs on Finn's neck stand up. Ah, there!
We'll get there if we keep beating on it.
Yep. We'll hammer this square peg into that round hole yet. Alright. So...
We had decided on the main bad guy there. He survives to fight another day as possibly a reoccurring character.
So, yep.
What was his name?
Codswan?
Bob.
Now there's lots of bellowing and yelling, and obviously some ticked off and pissed offness in general.
What are you talking about? He's defending from some of his overeager lieutenants who now think this is an opportunity.
It's a coup. So, you guys eventually are able to get through the Pesh fields, sneak around, and arrive back at the old repurposed monastery, now quasi-mosque. Proximo eventually shows up, ready to take some of the now freed slaves back with him. He does seem rather...
Why would he actually show up there? I'm thinking he's probably just going to have bailed along with everybody else.
Right.
And he scooped up whoever he could.
Correct.
Or we part ways on the road.
Yeah. He kind of... You guys have made kind of like the plan to, any of the escapees that wanted to go with him, you kind of made arrangements that he would kind of do a dog, kind of change course just to do a quick stop through and then out. But what he tells you, Finn, is while he has no problem getting him out of this forsaken land, he is not comfortable with taking him across the great desert into Tathnis. So he intends
take him to Defiant.
Yeah. So he agrees to that. He will take them to Defiant and leave them with the care of your people to do with as you decide or as they decide. But he makes excuses that it's like too many mouths to feed, not enough water, I don't have the supplies. But he makes more excuses. But it's pretty obvious he's okay with at least getting them that far. You get it's like you owe me a favor, but he doesn't seem to really. It sounds more just the him and Han about it, less the him actually. He has a reputation to keep uphold, but it's more for show than anything else.
He's paying back a favor he owed my dad.
Finn will note that these two individuals have joined him.
Right. I wanted to introduce them to Thorn. If I can pry Thorn away from his cat girl.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. Not at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, you need to chat with these people, Thorn. They're like, abolitionists, and I know all about your anti-slavery thing.
Well, yeah, if that particular aspect of it is brought up, and bearing in mind he was in a cage the whole time, so he didn't actually know anything about them or what they were up to.
But Finn met him.
Yeah, so bringing up the abolitionism thing, he will definitely be interested enough to actually talk to them about it, assuming they are willing.
Give me a sense body, not
sense
detect
body.
lies, not detect lies. It's
detect lies can sometime work.
Or detect lies, or some kind of version of.
I don't have it.
Body
anyway,
language.
So. Body language. That's what I'm taking.
Yeah,
sense
I don't
body.
have.
Hey, cat.
That's
sense body.
That's not who Thorn is.
All right. Well.
And apparently he's not paying that close attention either.
Because he's got a cat girl crawling all over him.
It is a bit distracting.
So, they're pleased that you have that kind of. You're very inclined to the abolitionist cause. However, it's like they're very vague about it's like why they're dressed and why they act. Like we work in teams of two, as some of our predecessors have kind of shown us that teamwork makes the dream work kind of speech. But it's also to spread the mysticism, the mystique of those they're trying to imitate. They've never met them necessarily. However, there's many pairs. There are many that work in a similar fashion. Finn, do you have perception?
I got perception. I don't have like body language or anything like that. Everybody has perception.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
can you use body language untrained?
No.
I just throw a perception. Or intelligence, whichever one.
Wait, am I wrong?
Well,
I don't think you can.
You get the feeling they're less comfortable talking directly to Thorn than they had to you, but even then, there was Let's see. Rum. Uh, Basin is says what tells you, kind of gives you. Actually, let's see. Everyone but Brum, give me a universe
Phone
reaction
call.
roll. Just to start. I just want to see
universe reaction roll.
I just want to, or roll off. If you're even, you might get a chance to roll. If you're odd, you don't.
I'm confused.
I'm just trying to figure out who might be involved.
Alright, so what roll am I making?
I have no idea.
Not
no,
you.
Brum doesn't have to because he's involved. I'm just trying to see who might witness what's going on between.
He's gonna
Basin
invoke
and
your
Brum.
secret.
Yeah, your secret. I'm invoking your secret, and I need to know who might potentially witness some interactions. Lonfon does. And Arn, I need a reaction roll. And Zistral will. Arn's just having.
He's over in the corner, apparently having sex with the air.
So, Lonfon and Zistral. You kind of. Okay, so Brum, Basin, kind of starts talking to you in Dwarven. Like what brings you out here? It's like I wouldn't have expected to meet, another of what is it? I guess the king's eyes and ears this far, south and from home.
This guy has no tradecraft.
Well, he's using the.
That's why they sent him really far away.
Basically,
and that's
what
also
it is
why
is
Brum is gonna panic. He's like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to murder this guy and bury him in that thing with the apes."
Okay, he's pretty certain that Zistral and Lonfon don't speak, but they're also doing the whispering and kind of hushed tones, and he kind of it's throwing. It gives Lonfon and Zistral some idea that Basin and Brum are more than like they might be of the same profession. Does that make sense? Like they're almost too familiar without. It's like two people that two army guys start talking in terms that most normal people don't understand. But they're
never speaking Dwarvish. Does anybody else actually speak it other than Finn?
I do not.
Well, but just their mannerisms.
Yeah, so they just seem really familiar.
They seem more familiar than just hey, I'm a dwarf and you're a dwarf.
And for cultural reasons, that is insignificant to me because centaurs all act that way to each other.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't know anything about Dwarven culture either, so maybe they're just that.
It might seem suspicious to Lonfon though.
Well, but even to Zistral, there's something more than just that. But you can't put your finger on it. There may be something there that wasn't there before.
Because if you put your finger on it, they may attack you.
Yeah. But even Zistral gets a sense of their being more secretive than just two normal people communicating. But it could be a dwarf thing.
I just read this. Oh, that's true. It's a dwarf. Are we sure that's a he?
But other than that, Basin tells Brum that it's like, hey, it's good to know that that there's more than just me working, doing the good work for the king kind of thing. And then he kind of does the, if you need me, this is kind of my haunt. He passes Brum, does a bump pass kind of things message. If you ever get a chance to pass this on, this is the status of my current mission kind of thing. And then he kind of does the thanks, I'm leaving you, and heads back to Kelmarine to meet up with his dwarven dwarven arms dealers.
Righto. Brum will discreetly take it.
Yep. And maybe that's what Zistral saw, was caught.
That would be reasonable.
There's
a handoff.
There was a handoff of something.
If you'll excuse me, I'm just going to AFK for 1 minute.
It better only be 1 minute, because if it's more than a minute, I'm going to be so... I don't know.
It's Remembrance Day, and 11:11 at 11 o'clock, minute silence. So AFK.
Yep. Well, we could take a... You're AFK. He's AFK now, so...
I suggest we observe that as well.
But it's not 11:11:11.
It is there.
All right, back.
I had to go look it up.
My apologies.
No, you're...
No need. That's a very good thing to observe.
Yeah, it's been a thing since school. There's always been the minute silence, and basically the nation stops.
Yeah, we do that tomorrow. Or Monday, rather.
So, same thing, 11 o'clock?
No, it's a holiday, national holiday. Veterans Day.
Yeah, it's our Remembrance Day.
Cool. Good for you.
11 a.m. Gotcha. So 11 at 11.
Yes, it's morning for us.
Yeah. So it's not 11. Gotcha. All right, back to here. So your party is all back together. You guys have information that you guys can use to get back. That points you guys will point the Fail towards the lost city.
Right. Yeah, so we have to head back to the siege.
Right.
And hopefully not get attacked or ambushed along the way.
How long did that take to get here?
It
was multiple days, wasn't it?
3-4 days, something like that.
Something like that. Where is the... I can't remember the name of this planet.
But yeah, make sure to thank everybody for their assistance. Accomplish whatever, or do whatever we had agreed to do. I don't remember if we actually agreed to help them or anything.
Well, they're gonna obviously the Fail will join you since you're going home. The slaves will go back. Anyone that doesn't stay with you goes off with Proximo, which includes Aramis and pretty much all the slaves. So it's the party plus Aslam and the 2 remaining Fayul.
Wow, there's only
so
2.
So
there's only 5 to begin with, or was it 5?
Proximo
One you guys watched got murderized right in front of you, or in the. What's up with Proximo?
Proximo's breaking off and going straight up for Defiant.
Yep, he's making. Yeah, he's gonna go north and then make his way towards Defiant. Yes.
Messages should probably be sent with.
Yes, agreed.
You will gladly deliver any messages that you have.
Ah, right. So it occurs to me that since Finn had all of the old stories from the previous generation memorized, he'd actually know who Proximo was.
That's true, he might.
It might be the... Say, you by any chance wouldn't be the Proximo.
There is but only one Proximo.
Except...
I've been doing this for many years.
Except you should be really, really old by now.
He's like, I am. I actually died. This is CG.
I'm in my 80s. But I'm still young. A healthy diet.
He's young for an elf. Yeah, that's it. Proximo was always an elf. He just looked older than he was.
Maybe he's half elf. All right. So you got anything else that you're sending off with Proximo?
I can't think of anything.
All right.
Let's get to trudging.
The treasury. What was it? 50 miles? That was like 2 days or something like that. So, all right, you guys start to make your way back, and you're met with tragedy.
That's usually the way it goes.
What's tragedy doing on this road?
Is she hot?
She's a mess. She's just a hot mess.
She's a Bee Gees song.
You reach, as you start to approach the siege, it becomes clear that you see some wisps of lonely wisps of smoke coming from some of the area. Aslam and the Fail kind of say, it's like, wait here, we're gonna go check it out and see what's going on.
That smoke looks lonely.
And they kind of do the melt into the desert kind of thing. Anyone plan on heading with them? It's like, we're gonna approach and see if it's safe to go, but this does not look good.
How many of us have curiosity?
Yeah, well,
I'm probably just
going
buddy.
to be heading forward anyway, but I totally failed.
Yeah, anyone, they do warn you that We don't know what's going on. It could be an
I
ambush.
can try to sneak. I'm not very good at it, but
they won't fight you too much on.
well, definitely, yeah. We're going to be advancing forward. We just may be sort of sneaking. We're just not going to be as good as they are.
Right. All right. So you guys take your time, and as you guys kind of approach, it becomes readily apparent that the siege was attacked.
By what?
There are like what looks like some of the caves that look like they were blasted. You can see strange. Give me a tracking roll for anyone. Eventually, what happens is ultimately is they come back for anyone else that hasn't. But it looks completely deserted. There are some. It's very obvious a conflict.
I don't have a clue.
There was obviously a large conflict. There are blood stains left. It looks like there were a lot of things left. Looks like there things left behind. Like so, there does seem to be a lot of there are indications that some folks have fled with some gear potentially. Like some of the homes and hovels of the area don't seem to have been some
Did you mention
staple
bodies?
products. There are no bodies, but there are definitely places where like somebody died there. Yeah. Fighting happened here.
So none of the enemies fallen either.
Or
Are we all
you
there?
do see,
I'm not clear
like,
on.
Yeah,
we all
there's no
come?
way we're just gonna.
Eventually you're all.
We're all gonna be
getting
there.
But when
Okay.
Initially they just only those few go forward, and they come back and say it looks safe. We don't see anything. It's not an ambush.
Okay, I'm going to try tracking. Obviously, I'll have a penalty for them poking around and disturbing the scene. What would that be, like a 4?
Just throw your tracking.
Oh, you're going to get a bunch of bonuses anyway because it's a large group and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I think it's like +5 if it's a large group. Something like that.
Jesus.
So, eventually, you kind of, after a bit, you start to notice that from one direction, there were a mass of hoof prints. Like some cavalry of some kind showed up, but they're
Shod
not like
or
full,
unshod?
unshod.
Ew.
And but you start to track it back to like this last portion of desert. Like it's just like there's a spot in the desert where it almost looks like the part of the sand just turned to glass, and everything came out of that, and it seems to have come back to that same spot.
Okay. I look for horse apples. Because centaur diet and horse diet are completely different. Centaurs eat meat. So I can tell the difference if I can find some poo.
Which is
I don't
They
think
could have
I
been
would
too
have thought
busy.
about that.
They could have been too busy to poo.
Which is
What?
odd to you.
Have you met me?
Well, you're also a wildling. It does actually seem, for the most part, it doesn't seem like they were around for very long. Like the fighting was fast, furious, and doesn't look like they left much trace. Or whatever trace they did leave, they kind of took back with them, or got rid of. Which is eerie and of itself. Give me another tracking roll. All right. As you continue to kind of look and figure out what's going on, you do see what seems like a set of tracks that lead off into the desert that seem almost single file, like they were hiding their numbers. And
Fracking
you almost didn't even catch that there were tracks going off in a direction. It was like maybe
what kind of
broken
tracks?
Human. It looks
Okay.
footed tracks.
All right. Another important question.
Definitely looks like the track you found seemed like it was part of many more that were deliberately
Single
hidden
file. Gotcha.
and deliberately hidden. Like anywhere else, you're like, that's odd. It's like it looks like somebody was doing their best to try and hide these tracks, and they just
like
missed
brooming behind a line of people.
Exactly.
Okay. I have another important question. Around the hoof prints that are around, is there any sign of mounting or dismounting? Like twisted footprints near hoof prints? Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell the group that the raid came from that way and left that way.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, there is something odd. You notice what look like wheel tracks that follow behind some of the horse tracks.
That helps a lot. Definitely not Centaur. Alright, so I'll tell them that... Well, yeah, but, to Zistral's mind, no Centaur would pull a cart.
Gotcha.
So, with certainty, Zistral says the raid came from that way, mounted, pulling carts, and left the way they came. But there are tracks, human-sized tracks, leading off in that direction. And it looks like there was more than one, and that they made an effort to go single file and cover their tracks. I think we should probably follow them rather than try to find the source of the raid.
You could probably tell whether those quote-unquote carts are four-wheeled or two-wheeled.
They're two-wheeled. Pretty certain they're two-wheeled based on some of the ruts that were left behind in certain locations. But it looks like not all of them had carts. The ones that looked like they had that were pulling potentially a chariot looked like they were kind of perimeter guard. Arn, Thorn, and Finn, give me a major rolls. Sorry?
Do I know what a chariot is, even?
You might. I mean, probably heard the despicable things.
I'd bet he'd probably heard of that.
Okay.
Even if just
then I'll say
conceptually you've heard of it. Carts or chariots.
Captain Button in the chat made the comment, maybe enslaved centaurs.
Oh yeah, that's a possibility.
All
Margin
three of
crit.
you guys get there was some magic thrown around here. Looks like some rather a lot of invocative magics. You can see like some burn marks. After a bit, some residual. Might have been enchantment, but whoever was but you can tell, you get a distinct feeling that there were at least two major players on the opposition side throwing magic around.
I'm guessing there's a bit of a residue around that glassed area.
Oh yeah. And Arn, you're certain that this was some kind of gate.
Ooh.
And check with, I guess, is Aslam the guy in charge of the survivors that we extracted?
Yeah,
Of course he is. He has a name.
he totally is. He is.
Is he aware of a bolt hole that that the Fail may have near here that is in the direction of the tracks that Zistral observed?
He says it's. We have bolt holes in many different locations, but if my people did make off in that direction, then yes, I am aware of one.
Then we need to. I agree with Zistral. We need to go there, find out of any survivors, and then hopefully they can identify who attacked and potentially where they're at.
He also kind of, notes that what would likely have occurred is many of his people, or many of the fighters, would have actually, I'm sorry, my mistake. There were 3 casters in play. 1 or 2 of them were in the opposition force. There was another one that seemed to have more of a illusionary, was throwing some kind of
Gosh, I
illusionary.
wonder who that was. Well, actually, it could be.
And that magic went in the direction of, you kind of get the fading feel that it went in the direction of the footprints.
I wonder if you can get like a discriminatory magic sense. Actually, read signatures.
Well, I'm sure that Arn and Thorn and Finn probably can sort of recognize each other's magic. It has its.
Well,
each of you guys have your own.
If you go by the
footprint
rules
or fingerprint.
as written, Arn and Thorn's magic is completely different from Finn's.
Right, but they also recognize that there's a mana tap of some kind that Finn has to pull from. He just pulls it differently than they do. One that seems quite alien to them, but nonetheless, they know they can feel the buzz of that magic. It's just they recognize it as Finn's magic. If someone who had never been around Finn felt it, they would know something was going on, but not necessarily what. Does that make sense? And vice versa, since Finn has been hanging around Arn, Thorn, and Gesslin.
Yeah. Well, I still think we should probably follow those try to find out what's going on before we progress any further.
Well, our mission was to deliver the book, the scroll, whatever it was, the scroll, back to them. So if they're off that way, then that's our mission.
Some of them, yeah. You know how it is. We're going to have to go rescue some other people. Because, that's apparently what we're good at is rescue. We're
the rescuers.
Yeah, rescuers. Yeah, I don't know.
I need a perception roll from everyone into the box, please.
Banestorm, first responders.
We need to rename ourselves to the Thunderbirds.
We are a go.
Set in the box. Well, whatever it was, I failed.
All right. So.
You didn't throw it in the box, Daniel.
I believe I didn't throw it in the box.
Bad, Daniel.
I'm sure that's the least of my sins.
Yeah, it's because you keep getting distracted by the cat girl.
I don't think she's wearing a shirt.
All right, so you guys,
Here,
after
have
a bit,
shirt.
the Fail kind of say, okay, go ahead. Which is, at first you kind of think it's odd because they send you guys off. They basically tell you, hey, we're not gonna go in that direction. They kick you. They kind of dogleg you a different direction.
Okay, why?
So nobody can follow us.
Yeah. When you ask that, and Aslam's like, well, kind of gives you that kind of a, like the hand gesture, like stop, don't. It's like we can't just go that way, Lord Finn. But they leave one of the guys behind to kind of cover your trails because he doesn't know how much of a how much they're going to have to clear up behind, especially like Zistral.
Zistral, I realize this is going to be difficult for you, but you really should hold your poo for a while.
So,
well, if I concentrate, I can do that. So I'm concentrating on that now.
That's kind of gross. He's holding his poo.
Not in my hand.
Uh-huh.
My butt.
all right, so you guys do set off eventually, and with one trailing Fail dude. And you guys begin your hike through the desert. There are some. The first night is they kind of they take you to you're kind of brought late in the evening or late in the morning, I guess, traveling during the day.
During
During
the whole, as we're heading out, Finn is going to be checking with everybody, letting them know that he kind of felt like we were being watched back there, and seeing if anybody else is the same way, while trying to keep it really quiet.
I don't know, man. I do kind of get the sense that somebody's following me.
One of the Fail behind you is like looks at you kind of like sheepishly and kind of take or no
Talking
Saranya,
about it,
Saranya's like it's like
piggyback ride.
right.
So nobody else sensed that. Maybe I'm jumping at shadows.
So Saranya just kind of as you talk to the crowd, you get this kind of like ear twitch thing, like and she looks to Thorn at some point. It's like how you have not decided to be your own rule this pride yourself. I will never know. I think you could take him. That horseman, he freaks me out.
On that, we agree.
She doesn't know what to make of the dwarf, but it's like, did you notice that your hooded, cloaked friend over there talks to himself and smells like two different people?
Yes to the first, no to the second.
Really? I swear he smelled almost like somebody was wearing somebody else's clothes. He reeks of like he's wearing a woman's clothing. There's a distinct, odd male-female smell about him.
Elves are known for their eyesight, but not necessarily in particular for their sense of smell.
Well, maybe you can get better.
We can only hope.
You spend about 3 days bouncing between caches of buried water caches, and on the 4th day, you guys come up.
And on the 4th day, I can no longer hold it.
Yep. No.
And the pile is about shoulder high on me.
It's like that. It's like that puking scene in Team America.
Yes.
Brum literally says, Right, well, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
And after he's done, he says, "Follow that."
It's like a baby poop where you just bewildered where they kept it.
Yeah, that doesn't just apply to babies, by the way.
Right.
I recently learned.
You are, they kind of lead you to a kind of a spot. Let's see. Yeah. Just
Does
on
this
the other
qualify
side.
as a spot?
A new site.
That's got to be man-made.
Is it a site or a spot?
Yes. And what you notice, as you approach, you're as you come over the rise and see everything, there's kind of a rustling and a noise, and Aslam makes kind of a strange twittering, almost sounds like one of the desert lizards that you've heard in your travels, and a Fail comes out from behind a rock, and it's like, "Oh, it is good to see you again, Assam. We were wondering
Hey,
who
it's
was
Abdul.
approaching our." It is Abdul. But you
Nice.
notice that this particular individual he's a really young guy. Like probably one of the trainees that you've seen before that generally gets stuck doing a lot of guard duty and whatnot. And so I'm kind of like, where's your watchmate? And the boy kind of looks, young man, barely out of his boyhood, kind of looks down. It's like, I'm but only one watchman. Our numbers are few. We have lost many. Come, and we will tell you what occurred. And he looks up and sees Finn. Recognizes Finn. It's like, Lord Finn. You've returned with your friends.
We have indeed.
The Sheik and Jeddik will be glad to see you. And of course, Amira. She will. She is well, so do not worry, Lord Finn. And he kind of leads you down. One of the things everyone kind of does note rather distinctly is you don't see many of the Fail here, or the warriors. It's really just most of the women, the elderly men. There are some of the younger, some of the older boys. There are some of the warrior types, but some of the much younger ones. And it's like, and they eventually take you to the larger tent. At which point, there's as you kind of get into the camp, there's a call out, and Rashid, comes out of the tent first, and it's like, and he sees you all, and it's like, Finn, you found us. We weren't sure if you would or not. As you can
We have
see,
Aslam along with us.
and they exchange greetings and everything, and he greets you all, kind of braces hands with everyone. It's like, it's good to see you.
Unfortunately, how you doing?
Yeah,
Salute.
and of course there's a smile. You do note that he has a kind of a he seems to have a favoring one of his legs. and he has a fresh scar as well over his eye.
I don't see a scar over his eye.
I do.
That was already there.
Shut up. It's now, it looks like it's only just recently been treated, and and come, into my father's tent, Lord Finn. We have much to discuss, and do not worry for my sister as well as But as you probably noticed, or as you probably have seen, tragedy has affected us greatly since your departure and mission.
Yes.
And they take you into the tent, and you're there. There's another guarding the outside of the tent is one of the other Fail fighters, and as you enter, you're met with these individuals. The Janik, the Sheik, and Amira.
The sister.
The sister. And the Sheik, stands and moves to kind of do the embrace you, Finn. It's like, Finn, my boy, I'm so glad to see you've returned to us. What have you found? Please, were you successful in Kelmarain?
Well, we brought several men back. Aslam, insert other guy's name, because the GM never actually named them for us. But we would have learned their names.
Right.
And we retrieved this, and it's like, have the sketch stuff of the thing. I can't remember how did we do that?
I
think we just took it.
Yeah, you just took it. Yeah, you just took it. It was kind of like a scroll, a good portion of a scroll.
Oh, right. And that also reminds me, we had several other scrolls which you indicated were probably magic, but we forgot about them because Daniel and went and got himself captured.
Oh yeah, everyone else got themselves captured. Right. The Janik, as you kind of produce the scroll, his eyes go wide and in surprise and and delight. Give Finn, give me a perception roll in the box.
I never thought you'd actually succeed.
Just Finn, potential. Well, Arn, Finn, Thorn, anyone that's there, but
you're alive. I mean, good to see you.
Yeah.
Hey, he only invited him to come in.
It's true, but
you guys could have accompanied or gone and got yourself cleaned up or whatever.
Yeah. So anyone that went in with Finn, otherwise, they would have made told you it's like we have food over here, water over here. So the Finn's retinue would have kind of been.
There's a big lake thing.
Yeah, we've got water. Obviously, we've got some food over here. Please, make yourselves comfortable. Please make yourself comfortable. While I take Lord Finn to see my father, and of course if anyone goes with Finn, Rashid would not have said no. So if Arn went with Finn, that's fine. And you pretty much you kind of recognize surprise, almost kind of that it's really real, or somewhere between it's really real and oh my gosh, that this is actually happening, kind of thing,
Right. Why does he look so surprised? He sent a handful of PCs. Granted,
I think
half of them went and got themselves captured, and that was a whole side quest. But
it's you and you're probably you have more of the feeling of like, did he not actually think it was going to be there, kind of thing, or
why'd
that
you keep
the city,
sending men?
Yeah, or exactly, or did he not really think that the lost city was a real thing, because it seemed a little more surprised than maybe somebody who was really convinced that the city existed.
So there's that. But what happened at the siege?
And there's a Rashid kind of starts to talk, but then he catches himself. The Sikh kind of looks at him and nods, and she's like, "We don't know how, but the Jin's retainers and warriors found us. It was only by the Janix magics were we able to kind of create a veil to hide, to mask the women and children as and some of the warriors out, as our warriors fought. As you probably noted, many didn't return. I fought too, but was struck a blow, and when I came to, we were here. We were a couple days out from here ourselves. It must have only been maybe a couple nights since you guys had left when out of the call went up. The centaurs and their and their archers try to keep us hemmed in, while their
Centaurs.
Yes.
Like, unlike that's gonna disappoint. That's gonna disappoint Zistral.
Unlike your friend Zistral, these ones are much more vicious. They are armored. They pull their own archers. It's
so everybody, having seen how vicious Zistral is, wonders, more vicious? Really?
Imagine your friend, clad in and plate or in mail, and pulling their own archer support. They brought two of their mad sorceresses with them, throwing spells to bring down my warriors, blasting those who that they could. I still don't know the fate of my friends. I assume, since you did that there were no bodies.
We did not find any. No,
they took. Yes, the centaurs that follow the Jin are much removed from the centaurs that follow the Jin are much removed from the centaurs of the wilds. They. Man, now you got me really thinking about it. You're in my head.
Just slow down.
See, that's why I never say anything while we're in the middle of it.
It doesn't bother me.
It's not a bother thing. It's just you can't not hear it.
I don't.
It just slow down. Don't take a breath.
He starts to describe some of the centaurs that fight for the Jin himself. They're kind of a twisted variety of over many years under the service of the Jin. Unlike their more
Zistral's gonna totally go, yeah, I can't wait to get me some of that armor.
unlike
I have armor.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or
Go ahead.
is that centaur sorceress? Does that creep you out a little bit? It just looks weird.
Supposed to.
The Djinn Centaur Warrior?
The sorceress.
Oh, I see. No?
Notice
The
the
image that was shared.
notice the centaur warrior appears to be fighting a Vasa.
Oh yeah, it does. Claw hands.
Holy crap, that's funny.
I didn't even catch on to that.
Damn those Vasa, they're back.
That
Picture
was
from the future.
an accidentally awesome choice of image.
Accidental awesomeness.
Spoilers.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the Vasa probably did kind of, have some contingent that probably
They
ended
probably
up in the
didn't.
Jinn land and
They
didn't
probably
last very
didn't
long.
just go east.
Right. It could have been scouts, that kind of thing. But he says, it's normal for them to, take the dead, either both to hide to mask just to how, the damage left behind. I assume that Islam and his crew, masked your trail coming in.
Yes.
That
There
is
was
good.
a sensation of being watched initially, although I seemed to be the only one that initially noticed it. So I could have been imagining it.
But Janek, immediately kind of, shoots, his eyes go wide and looks at you. Wait, are you sure of this? Was it more?
No,
like,
that's why I said I could have been imagining it.
And he kind of, without realizing it, kind of falls back to Arabic and kind of starts talking in like warning tones to the sheik. And as he's talking, Amira and Rashid kind of get that kind of look on their faces.
While I'm struggling to follow with my broken Arabic. Wait, what?
And,
huh?
And Rashid's like, says something, and they're like, "Oh, sorry. It could quite possibly have been. It could have quite possibly been their very own scouts. Hiding the sands, the very sands themselves."
Those are the
And
ones we
Rashid-
fought earlier, weren't they?
And Rashid says, "Very much so. They tend not to, invite conflict if they can help it, unless they can, strike quick and, fade back into the sands. It's rare that even our own people, it's rare if we even catch wind of them. But if you had that feeling, it's quite possible that, they knew you were there, or they were lying in wait to see if anyone would show."
There
And-
may be an alternate suggestion. This is just Finn thinking out loud, because he's got the ring that he made from the sand golem,
Right.
the glass.
Right.
He'll perhaps that. Or I just made my perception check. Nobody else did.
The
How do
Janet
we
kind of,
detect them?
it's like they're very good at what they do. It might just been pure luck. Who knows? You're of magic that I'm unfamiliar with. So says, the Janek says, but he kind of looks at your ring and kind of examines it. It's like, no, I don't. I feel a trace of magic, but he looks at you. It's like, is that not your very own magic that you've poured into it?
Yes.
So
But it was
I
made
sense
from the glass taken from those dudes we fought.
most of that mana would have consumed itself in the creation of the strain of the sand golem
Just
itself.
reaching.
Nonetheless, the sheik speaks out. It is quite possible that they are on our trail as we speak now, probably trying to moving up on us. even now, we must be prepare our people again once more to flee into the desert. And the Janek, kind of nods sagely. It's like, and he gets this tired look on his face. It's like throwing that magic, such veils again. It might take it might take more out of me, but you know me, brother. I will do what I must to protect our people. And the Sheik kind of puts his hand on his shoulder, like, I know you will. And with that, they said, Rashid mentions, like, Amira, go see to the people, make sure they start getting things prepared to move once again. We may have only but a day, and unless if we're unlucky, and she gets up, kind of throws a look to Finn, like, kind of that, it's like, I wish circumstances were better, and but she kind of steps out and leaves to do what was asked. And Rashid's like,
he's absolutely not going to lick at her ass as she leaves.
Arn, give me a check.
See, he's absolutely not going to.
Good for you guys.
Arn could see that he was trying not to look.
Lashiel, though, is totally looking.
Well, good job. Good on you guys. But as she leaves the tent, Zistral is going to approach and say, Amira Ileana Bintal Defar, may I assist you on your errands?
Yes, Master Zistral. I would be glad to have your company. It seems that at this time, we may be having to break camp sooner than we had expected.
All right, so I will carry on to help her with getting everybody ready to move. And then when we're done, I'll say, for the sake of tranquility, I'm going to take a run around the oasis. Would you care to accompany me?
She kind of takes a moment and thinks about that, and she agrees. It's like once my tasks are done, I do not see why not.
All right, well, I will kneel down so that she can easily climb on.
And all your friends' jaws just drop, going like, really? He's letting a human ride it?
And I'll, put her hands, say, hold on here. Put her hands on the old six-pack and stand back up, and I'll take off at top speed and give her a couple of laps around the oasis. And then drop her off breathless at her tent.
Is that a victory lap?
The second one was.
Seems like in your case, love handles would actually serve a practical purpose.
And bid her good night. And sweet dreams.
She thanks you for the distraction of the moment. See.
If Finn is still up, I'll give him finger guns. That's how it's done, son.
Yeah, I can't do that.
He took her for a ride.
If I do finger guns, it's like sunbolts.
Or did she take him for a ride?
Touche.
Alright, so Arn, Janet Kaleem asks if you can assist him with if you have any with potentially working out this map, and he kind of pulls takes you to a kind of a portion of the tent where it looks like he's set up shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he kind of breaks out the scroll that you guys brought with you. He doesn't dissuade Finn, and he invites Finn but he kind of says, but this is more busy work, and I'm unfamiliar with your magic. I mean no offense, Master or Lord Finn.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Rashid kind of claps you on the shoulders, like, come, I'll show you to my tent.
Oh yeah.
The man's tent. Yeah. And we'll make.
He forgot his pants.
They wear robes.
Even better.
And kind of so Thorn is invited to stay in the same tent that Rashid and Finn are. It doesn't seem like it was they're trying to dissuade anyone else, but they do show Arn and Brum and to another tent. Zistrel, they kind of like, well, you can go in the tent. We're sorry, Master Centaur, but our tents aren't too terribly large. But if your friend, this tent is for the three of you, or for to use as you feel. However,
I will sleep under the stars. Thank you.
And so he can be murdered by the ninjas.
So the individual kind of help assisting you guys kind of has that look of relief, like, I didn't want to have to tell the horse that horses or centaurs in tents, or I don't know how to accommodate a centaur. I wasn't trained for this.
Do they sleep standing up like a horse?
That would look
Didn't we
weird,
have that conversation once?
I mean, would their just torso
and I
flop
would say yes.
forward, or
No, it's just stand.
that would look really, really eerie. Because I mean, I could sit on a chair and my head just starts to loll back, and I lose my balance. And I'm sitting.
Yeah. Well, he can't actually lose his balance forward.
And I also have a strength of 18, so my head might not necessarily loll when I'm unconscious.
Just massive muscles that just sit there.
Just have my eyes closed.
Yeah, Thorn's gonna go climb that rock. We've been walking through the damn desert for 3 or 4 days. All this flatness out there. I need elevation. Clear my head. Not that it matters.
All right. So you start up the rock. Brum. I'll come back to you in a moment. What is Brum getting himself up to during the downtime?
Brum will relax. He will be trying some of the local tobaccos and comparing them to his own blend.
Some of the older Fael men, bring you a couple things, some to try, and it's like there seems to be kind of a competition between a couple of them, like, no, this tobacco's better, and they try some of yours, and they're like, oh, this is much more superior than a lot of the stuff we get. It's like, and they seem to really enjoy trying dwarven tobacco, and they're more than willing to share their own. You do, however, get the sense of that, like, it's almost like they can't help their eyes looking back down the trail that they came from. Like, any moment they might have to, hop to and move on, kind of thing. But the moment of respite that you provide them, seems to go a long way to,
Brum will actually comment, and he'll say, why is it that you keep looking back? One should always look forward.
wise, you speak wise words. I am but an old, we are some but old men, and we sometimes forget that these would be the same words we would speak to our young men. However, we did, despite the fact that we left some of our young men to die, you are most correct, Master Brum.
I am no master.
Whatever honorific they throw at you. But yes, you've definitely gained their respect, and it's like, this guy is wiser than just your run of the mill, just throw down, knock down warrior type. You do also get the feel as you kind of watch that their fighting force is greatly depleted. Like it's only a few of the younger of the crowds, or some of the older of the Fael warriors made it out. There are a few, but what used to be probably like maybe a fighting force of maybe 50 is dwindled down to maybe 10 or 15.
Then Brum will offer a toast. A toast to friends not present.
For which they participate. All right.
Hail the victorious dead.
Hail the victorious dead. May they drink in the halls of Valhalla. Wait, Valhalla. Ha! No. Okay. So, Thorn, you kind of get, you make your way to the top, and you have this really great kind of view of everything, and then the night air kind of blows and blows near you, and it's
realize
crisp
I was
and
being
clean.
followed.
And no, not so much. You're not sure if you were followed or beat, but there's a moment of pressure on you as a body presses against you, and you almost feel like you're going to get knocked off the cliff. But then a warm hand kind of stabilizes you, and she kind of draws her fingers languidly across your shoulders and back, and
I'm getting a little uncomfortable here.
And Zayanra is there, with just her staff, and and
just
she kind of
her
sees
staff.
Wait, what?
Well, that's the gear she tends to wander around with. But she kind of it's like, don't lose your footing, Thorndil. You wouldn't want to fall.
Wait, why is she calling him that? Why isn't she calling him like master or something?
Or oh yeah, that's true. Don't lose your footing,
man.
master. She purrs. It's like, and for a moment there, you're like, man, she's more cat than you had thought. I mean, a normal cat would have probably just have pushed you all the way off, and not just because she wanted to, but because she almost felt like she had to push things off cliffs, off of ledges.
That's right. Cats have that compulsive behavior.
Compulsive, odious personal habit, pushes people off ledges. But and it's like, I can see why you would have come up here. You almost feel like she may have actually been up here before, and she said, and she almost tells you, it's like, I saw you climbing up here, after we got set when we arrived at the camp. I couldn't help but climb up here and see what I could see. I am quite amused at that you would actually one of your kind would actually choose to climb and make it to such heights. Which, as she says that, you get the kind of feeling that she's really approves of that.
Well, clearly you've never been to the Harkwood.
Wood? Tell me about this wood.
Oh God.
And things devolve from there. So,
And scene.
Dancing.
Devolve, huh?
or go. Things get more gratuitous from there, which I do not need to speak.
What? I just talking about trees, and suddenly she's all freaking out like I must claw them.
Oh, there's Claw. But you don't seem to mind. She claims you.
Yeah, that's gonna
And,
be uncomfortable on top of a mountain.
She found a spot. Which kind of leaves Arn and some of the others like. Does anyone have good hearing?
Yeah, how
I have
far up
enhanced
is that?
perception, and I'm sleeping under the stars.
You, Zistral, at some point.
So
in
he
the
may hear
evening-
the "Ow, damn it!"
Yeah. Well, Zistral does hear what's sounds like a wild cat call from the it's still a little bit distant. They're not right in line of sight, but you hear what sounds like a wildcat call from the top of that hill, mountain, or that
Great.
large
This
rock
game is
for a
turned
moment.
into the first Porky's movie.
But we'll leave it at that.
Yep, good enough.
What? No, we were
Fist
playing
bump at
dice
breakfast.
and she lost. She
So
got
just-
mad.
Right, fist bump.
So the next day, most everyone has the camp kind of broken down and everything else. And there is a kind of a sense of like there's a pickup there over that evening. There's been a pickup of like wind and whatnot, and it only seems to carry out further into as the day goes. And a few of them, a couple of the old guys, one of the older guys comes by and hands you a couple of not turbans, but basically the material that turbans are done with. And he says, "Here, you're going to need this." And he kind of looks out. It's like this weather will be the worst to travel in, but should do well to hide our passage. And he kind of looks off, the direction you guys came, and as you look, you can see what looks like some dark clouds off in the distance, and there's a few bolts of what look like heat lightning from them, out there, and you realize that the weather is only going to get worse as you proceed.
All right, so are they presenting this somewhat as a gift, or is it just you'll need this?
Yeah, you'll need this. That kind of foreshadowing. It's like, oh, we're gonna need these.
All right, Brum will take it and acknowledge the gesture. I must say that I'm not fond of your conditions out here.
Hard lands make hard men and women.
Aye, that is correct. As you would understand if you lived in our mountains.
Oh, but if one day I could see your mountains, Master Dwarf. But alas, right now we have nothing but the sand on our feet. And yet he actually has a spark of hope in his eyes as it's like, you will, as your party has seemed to do, the hope you have brought with the promise of the lost city and a home that we may claim as our own. No, Master Dwarf, my thanks will always be to you, even if it is for just hope that we stride forward. if you do see Lord Finn, please once again give him our thanks, and of course our thanks to you as well, as one of his, as one of his retainers, or his fighting men.
This apparel that he's been given, is it obvious on how it should be worn?
Yeah, it's pretty much a was a shamag. You kind of you'd wear it over your mouth, and yeah, it's nothing difficult. You've worn things like this before, but more when like having to work against fire and that kind of stuff. It wears no differently than something like that.
All right.
I'll
pass on the message.
But he hands you enough to pass it along to everyone else.
Thank you. I will pass on the message. And Brum will take the stuff and distribute amongst the group.
All right. Finn, does Thorn go back to the tent that night? Or does he hang out under the stars?
No, he's going to have to go back at some point. Don't want to be that far away from alert. Out of communication.
Right. There was, upon your leave, there was some protest, and even your own, you're like, but man. So, Finn, you will note at some point, Thorn, late in the evening, does arrive.
I think I hurt my back.
I'm trying to think of something smart-assy to say. And failing miserably, thinking of something smart-assy to say.
Cat got your tongue?
Good morning, Thorndil. A hare wandered too close to camp. I speared it and roasted it for you, assuming you would need extra protein in your breakfast this morning. Here.
Not sure how to answer that. Okay.
Just eat it.
What's protein?
It's a big tribble. Oh God, it's a pugwampy! What were you thinking, man?
Well, zigged when it should have zagged.
Sorry, I'm just, Michael just.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know
Okay.
what to necessarily say. He's amused.
Nothing to say.
Because you got a big scratch on your neck. Or is that a hickey? I can't tell. Nope,
Lord
it's
Finn,
a scratch.
look over there. People who are struggling to get their stuff back. Why don't you go help them? Why don't we both go help them?
Why are we helping the people?
Let's go. This way.
All right. So that, everyone, Zistral, even, you're, as the night kind of carries on, the winds do you kind of feel the wind pick up a little bit more, and you feel like a change in the weather is coming. But other than some, some additional breeze, you're able to sleep through the evening well enough. There are some thin clouds that do start to form, and as if as you sleep. So when you do wake, you do note that it starts at there's an overcast to the sky, and in the direction you guys came, there does seem to be what looks like this approach of a storm. And you watch as Brum Rumley is handed a few converses with one of the elders, and he's handed what looks like some cloth and shemags kind of material.
Yeah, I didn't take it either. Yeah, because I'm wondering if the storm is just a naturally occurring thing, or is it indicative of for example, a gate spell?
Um, no one seems to see. No one that you interact with seems to be concerned with it as
Okay.
anything more than just upcoming storm. There's definitely concern because, well, you're going to be traveling through the desert with a potential storm. They're hoping that it's not. Even Rashid will tell you, it's like, this is terrible that we're having to leave even now. It would be best if we just waited till the storm passed, but we don't know what the time, how much time we have. Best if we move now. At least
Where are
the
we
storm will
going?
hide to another spot that we're familiar with. But it's but as you've brought us the very thing, the the Janik himself seems to have a clue of our next stop, and we're basically heading straight out to the city now. It seems to be hidden. Oh darn! I closed the map. You
Map
guys
Yataria.
basically, here, or where that first circle is, and you're going somewhere over there. That makes sense. Thankfully, Allah is with us. You know, you know, our flight even to this spot has only brought us closer to the city itself. If the Janik is correct, we are only but maybe a couple days travel to what seems to be the location of the lost city itself. So I will walk through this storm of wind and sand if it means that my people will be safe. Would you not too, Lord Finn?
Absolutely. I'm just like to know where we're going. It's all good.
Yeah, Allah's will. He says, what is the term that they use? The lost city, inshallah, right? It's inshallah, right? Inshallah. Inshallah. I know it's something like that, but so. Ha! There it is. So, the herd, the animals are, herded up, the tents are broken down, and the people are ready to move. When a crack of lightning and it's what sounds like lightning, or what's the thunder sounds like lightning. Oh my gosh, I fall for the a peal of thunder that comes without lightning, sounds, and everyone starts, and your eyes and your attention's drawn to a hillock about some distance away, and Arn, Thorn, and Finn to some degree kind of feel the pull of mana, as almost like the very air it splits, itself splits down the middle and peels aside. And
does it rotate?
Peels aside like a curtain of the very air. No, she says she can't, but that's she does tell you, it's like, that is a very impressive gate. And everyone kind of does the crud, and starts to and Rashid shouts like, move, we must keep ahead of them, and
I will set up a force dome around the gate.
It's distant. I mean, this is like
okay,
almost like a mile away.
I thought it was
Good
going to be in the
thinking.
middle of the camp, like it was.
Yeah.
back
If
in
it was
the-
in the middle of
that
that'd have been really funny.
Good looking
their
out there.
cavalry comes charging through the gate and goes
Boink, boink, boink.
Book.
Keep that in mind for later.
Although
Yep.
that would be funny, because they start coming through and they can't stop, because they can't tell the people behind them, stop coming, and just starts like being this press of centaurs, because their faces are pressed against the glass, like.
What did they call that on the Stargate? Was it the Iris?
Yeah, close the iris.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah,
Close
and
the
stuff
iris,
just goes
and
plink,
that's
plink,
Arn
plink,
throwing
plink.
a force wall.
So good.
And of course, it's one of those scenes where you've got the storm almost like immediately on their heels. This evil bit of ripped reality, and out comes at first two of these just dark and sinister looking centaurs, and eventually, and followed by two of the obvious sorceress types, and then shortly thereafter, like what looked like six pairs of those same centaurs, but they're pulling what look like chariots, and on the back, on the chariots themselves are what look like just normal humans, but they're archers themselves. I have a token that might give you an idea what that looks like.
Is this scene a Michael Bay scene or a J.J. Abrams scene?
I'm not sure which is worse in that case.
Well, one's lens flares,
and the other is nothing but lens flares.
Suppose you could throw in Peter Jackson.
Probably Peter Jackson. You guys see that token? It kind of looks like that, But yeah, pretty much that's what you see, and it almost seems like just as they start, you guys all start to surge forward and make haste, ahead, Rashid kind of runs up to you, Finn. It's like, Finn, I don't know what we can do, but we have to do. Can you or you or Arn, we have to do at least some delay while Janik puts another veil on us, or puts a veil on our people.
We'll see what we can do.
And with that, scene. I'm gonna have to call it here, only because I don't want to get into a fight.
Oh man.
Well, Brum will end the scene with his axe in hand, and he'll just be running his thumb over the blade of his axe, testing its sharpness.
All right. So everyone will get their 1 point. And we'll pick, how will it end? The forces of the
fire.
Forces of the Jinn arrayed against them. A people, fleeing in terror. Finn, Thorn, Arn,
And a
Ziskel,
group
and
of
Brum.
badasses waiting to face them.
Stand in the gap.
Need to work on your radio voice.
I do. Well, the one thing about most radio voicing, you don't get a point. In fact, I'm taking my point back. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I do.
Yeah, it did.
So we will getting on here with the next few. I still have no real idea how long this is going to push. I don't want to tell you. I give you a straight number because
it goes until it goes.
Exactly, because I do like it that you guys take the lead most and kind of choose which way you want to go. If you guys want to get all captured, and have to.
Well, I don't think they wanted to get captured.
Well, you know what I mean.
That was a series of critical fails. But it worked out.
I mean, you guys could have taken that any number of different ways that you wanted to.
Cool. All right. Well,
so
good game.
Now, if you guys don't mind, with the skill checks stuff, how I know there was some growing
skill
pains with
challenge,
that. Skill challenge stuff. What do you think we could have done better there? Or I'd done better.
Not include the NPCs, I think would have.
Yeah, we should have dropped the NPCs.
Well,
they
I like the NPCs.
They could still have been there as a bonus or something like that. The problem is having to roll for them when nobody's actually playing them.
Yeah, I agree.
I think 10 was too much.
Yeah, I agree.
But we wouldn't have known that until we actually got in there. So
yeah, I agree. Learn. I think 10 was probably too much. I was like, I thought having more with like, because I think normally I've seen it do 6 with 3 or 6 and 3 fails.
Yeah, well,
so I was thinking it's like, well, if I give you 10, I give you more chances to succeed. But then I'm like, oh yeah, but
like I said,
try to proportion out the failures.
The D&D version, the difficulty and the being the number of successes you need, it's a lot different because of the probability involved on the 1d20. So it's going to take a little bit of fiddling to figure out where the sweet spot is there. But bad works, I think. I think that was good. Adjusting bad separately, like that
as
was
opposed to a success.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. That's not in the D&D stuff, but that's a decent addition. I wouldn't have a problem with using that again.
Well, it kind of mirrors a position bonus in mass combat.
There is a little bit of that. Actually, saying that, I had been tempted when I was thinking about this before to try to figure out how to use risk in that as well. I don't know how well that would work.
I wonder if you could do a risk where
Well, the problem is
additional successes based on how, you know, if you pull it off.
If you take, you have to fiddle with it, because if you just take a penalty, then you're actually just reducing your margin of success. If you didn't take the penalty, you'd get a better success.
Or you get a success with bad kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think that would work there, but it's something worth thinking about probably. What?
See,
right.
like
So you were talking about trying to eliminate the failures, and while that is an interesting idea, we'd have to work out how that would actually work, because just making that an option instead of rolling for a normal success just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I guess if you can narratively figure out how you would counter the failure of somebody's roll. For example, say it was a climb and somebody failed and they were falling. So somebody, the next person, I would say it has to be the very next person in line.
Well, the way that Colville was describing it in that video when he was talking about it, he had actual results for failures. So if you failed the roll, then something bad would happen at that moment, at which point somebody nearby could make a save and step in. Now, if you wanted to work that in, then that would be perfectly sensible.
So, how would you mean, like potential damage that somebody has to make a save against?
Right. In the instance that he was describing, it was actual damage, and
so
somebody could rush in and take it. That would not eliminate the failure, but it would prevent the damage.
So
that makes everybody working together a little more like that.
So in that particular case, it would be hey, you're rolling the climb, but you failed, so somebody else has to jump in with a catch you roll. It doesn't count to a success or fail, but if they fail to catch you, your character takes actual damage.
Yeah, something like that. That's not always going to work out, but in this particular case, it might have.
There were a couple instances where I could see it happening, like
I think the biggest fail here was just not really understanding the geography. It's kind of we ran into the same problem with the chases originally, because we started doing the chase thing, and then you started to realize you really needed some kind of concept of where you are.
I was going to say that, given the skill challenge, I would do away completely with landscape and have everything just completely abstracted. So it doesn't necessarily follow a linear order. So if you used I don't know, fast talk at the end of the challenge, that doesn't represent doing something towards the end of the whole thing. That could have happened at the beginning. It's just you rolled for it at the end.
That's true that they're not necessarily sequential, and that's something you'd probably want to establish at the beginning.
Yeah,
you could have easily run this as being sequential.
Yeah, and I think I totally get where you're coming from there, Brian, because it would be like this scene starts to happen, and everyone's watching it like, how did that even happen? And then it does the quick cut scene to what happened before, where you were beating somebody up for the information on, like, hey, what's the password? Tell us the password. It's like, but at that moment, it was just the players walking up and giving the password to the guy, and everyone watching the show going, how did they know the password? And that very second they make that thought, the scene cuts to 10 minutes earlier.
Mm. Well, if you wanted to allow flashbacks, how would you do that?
Well,
It just makes it more difficult to be locked into sort of a linear time frame or schedule or whatever, or events. It makes it just difficult.
In that case, it depends on the nature of the skill challenge. If it's, oh my god, we gotta escape this tower that's collapsing, then the linear challenge makes sense. But if it's a heist, then the linear doesn't.
Yeah.
Where you could do the leverage thing all day long.
Right. And I think that's where that's how I envisioned this, was more of the leverage heist kind of thing. And
just so you know, when I say we need a good understanding of the geography here, I don't necessarily mean that we need a map.
Right.
It's just everybody needs to understand where they are in the space and what they're up to.
Well, and there was a bit of linearness to certain of the roles, like, Thorn breaking out, Lon Fawn trying to do, to distract the guards, and the Fail, taking out the guards, all in that kind of scene.
I think there was a bit of confusion there because not everybody was thinking of it the same way. Some of us were thinking of it as linear, where others were not.
Right.
And so you have to establish that at the beginning.
Yeah, agreed. But certain things will kind of give other people ideas in a linear sense, because I was in fact trying to say, it's like, hey, your attempt was to break out, but you were failing, so there does have to be some it gives another player the chance to, well, on my turn I can be the one that helps them get out, kind of thing.
Now,
so,
normal
Zistral opening the gate, I totally understood, the how that might have played out is he sees them, like, oh, the keys are way over here, they're trying to get out of the jail area, and Zistral takes that moment to break them all free. So I think the other part of that is everyone needs, there is a sense of, pay attention to what other people are saying, because you can play off what they're saying. And
right.
Zistral's just and Carrie just happened to be the catalyst that was that's your freedom moment. Now everything out, now the scenery changes for everybody. But that's cool, because it didn't have to, it could have been anyone that had succeeded, because if it had been Thorndil to open the door, that would have been the scenery change moment. It could have been anybody. In this particular case, Carrie was the one to actually make the roll and describe the scene of how the door was open, because Zistral just shoved it open with his immense strength, which worked for me. I think that's though where it felt to me where Thorn got, or you got derailed.
No, that derailment was based on the fact that I was thinking of it in a linear sense, and it felt to me like that it had moved on, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, I don't know how you really address that part, other than just, I don't know how you address that part. Best practice on the skill challenge, my understanding is that you're supposed to, as the GM, when you set it up, to let everybody know the skills or whatever traits that you expect to be used. And I don't think it necessarily needed it in this case, because we already did the setup thing, so we already had kind of an idea of where that was going. But normally that's something you want to do starting out, is to let everybody know these skills are ones that I definitely expect you to be useful here. What was the other thing? I don't remember now. Did we already end the stream?
No, we haven't.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I kind of figured that the stream wanted to listen in on the growth of.
Yeah.
From
No,
my
I'm
point
glad
of view,
I'm glad we've
Go ahead.
had some chances to get into this because I need to sort that out anyway.
we had a lot more agency in this challenge than we normally do. And I think that's where the disconnect is where we were in a position where we could literally just create on our turn whatever we wanted and make our roll based on that. And I think that's where it fell down because you were expecting a little more structure, a little more A to B to C to D.
Well, no, it wasn't really that. It was just it is literally what I was confused on is I heard you say you opened the door, but I did not hear anybody say anyone had passed through it.
Yeah, and nobody did. But that
And
was
nobody did.
That was upon whoever
But
comes
it was
next.
assumed.
They could pick it up and take it from there at like a like a
and
shared fiction kind of thing.
I was waiting for my chance to get everybody through the door, and when I got to that point, everybody was talking about, no, you're outside already. I didn't know we were out. Yeah,
That's why I think it's better if it wasn't linear, because then you could intervene and say, okay, when the door was opened, I did this.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see that not actually restricting one's turn at it to one's individual self actions, like having other people reacting to it. I'm not explaining that well.
No, I get it. On my turn, someone had mentioned that there was a portcullis, but I invented that it took 2 people to operate it, and I was going to use my massive strength to operate it and rolled.
Yeah, that was fine.
That was totally up to me.
And
the next person to come along could do the same thing and say, well, now that the portcullis is up, I'm going to show the slaves the way to freedom or whatever,
Or if it's never mentioned again, if another player doesn't capitalize on that, then you could safely assume that the portcullis was opened and people filed through, and it wasn't a significant event after the fact of being opened.
There was no resistance once the portcullis was open, but maybe and that's kind of where I came in, because I think I was the one that you threw that in there.
You were taking over. Sorry, whatever her name is, at that point, and you said something about her hiding in an alley. And at that point, I'm going, where's the alley?
I broke your brain.
The alley's outside. Because you had already assumed that everybody left out the door.
Right.
But I didn't know that. I was waiting for my turn so I could say, let's lead everybody out of the door.
Oh, okay. I get it.
So somebody got ahead of me, and I don't.
He's
How
throwing
do
the
you
GM
communicate
under the
that?
bus.
I was just trying to give you guys all the agency.
Get under
you
that
guys
bus,
wanted.
Mark.
Hong Kong. Yeah, no. I recognize that it was because obviously I being the GM in this particular case, I was very aware of the non-linearness of it, and I capitalized on Zistral's maneuver to go, oh well, looking at her skill set, what would she do? I don't, getting into a fight, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, oh, I can be stealth in this particular case. The door is open, so how does she use stealth to reduce bad in this particular case? Which again kind of leads back to the how do we want to utilize NPCs in such capacity?
Yeah, I lean toward, I don't know what everybody else thought about it, but I lean toward making the NPCs modifiers only and not active skill challenge participants.
So
I agree.
So have them make their skill roll, and if they succeed, that's just a bonus. kind of towards
either
next
way,
person?
it kind of depends on the situation. Maybe, like if you've had 5 or 6 Fail working with you, you don't necessarily need to roll for each of them. Just say, yeah, they're
But
they're
that's
helping.
kind of what I did. Yeah. Well, that was the kind of what that's why I was kind of hoping everyone would take an NPC, because that NPC was theirs to provide them bonuses in a sense, and it kind of lost that early on. But so that way Zionra would always be tossing bonuses to Thorndil. In that particular case, potentially the Fail would give bonuses to Lanfan. Bjorn would provide bonuses to Brum's rolls. Zistral, I easily come up with an
So
NPC that
Princess
Zistral would have
Amara
been.
is my NPC now?
No.
I would be inclined to make NPCs the equivalent of PCs. If they're in the situation, an NPC should be equivalent to a PC. But maybe if there's lots of NPCs, then the skill challenge number of successes and failures may need to be increased so that to count for that.
Yeah, absolutely. The number of successes should be based on the number of actual people rolling or actual characters involved.
Because I don't see why an NPC, would not contribute as much to a PC or as a PC.
Right. And
the only reason you would not include them is because you only want the actual players to be rolling stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I got uncomfortable is when I'm rolling for NPCs, and I don't like to roll a failure that affects the group in such a way. That's why I would preferred if I could have had given you guys the NPCs to do with whatever. More opportunity for I felt you were doing just fine with Bjorn or Jason Bjorn. So I was like, oh yeah, we're getting there, but then.
But I was rolling for him.
Right, and that was just fine, and I was perfectly okay with that. I was much more comfortable with that kind of setup than when I was rolling for Zionra or Lanfan or.
Okay, so let's amend that to say the GM should not be rolling for that.
Right.
The GM should not be participating in the skill challenge. Only the PC or only the players should be.
Right.
Whether or not they're rolling for more than one character.
Yeah, I agree.
Sounds good.
I can dig it. So, so it sounds like NPCs act as bonus providers to the PCs, right? That seems to be the majority, or how everyone tends to lean.
Unless they're being actively played.
Unless they're being actively played, but if they're being actively played, they get the full, they have the full effect of a regular PC then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, and so we're good for linearity will be established at the beginning.
Yeah.
To help,
Yeah, the time frames involved, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Maneuvers are approximately no more than 5 minutes in between, and
or whatever you set it to.
Yeah.
Different skill challenges are going to take different amounts of time.
And I see where you were going with that, because if I just gave you all the time in the world, then why wouldn't I just take all the time in the world to? But you have to have some kind of unless you sacrifice time for additional bad against that roll, but then that's really just kind of defeating the taking extra time, unless it's kind of at a 2-for-1 for.
If you're going, you could define, every action has a standard unit of time. So in most GURPS things, skills take a minute minus, your margins of success reduces the time. So you could say if you decide to take extra time to do something, then you forfeit your next skill challenge.
Oh, that's
well, but that may not make sense.
If you succeed.
I mean, if you're talking about 3-hour turns for some reason, there's no reason you can't take a full 5 minutes to do something.
Well, that's if they're 3-hour turns.
Yeah.
Exactly. What I was saying was it depends.
Yeah. And I think it's just really I'll have to if I do if I do this again, or if and when I do this again, just have to be more cognizant of giving you a better idea of how long you've got to take your turn, or based on what action you're wanting to take.
Just in theory right now, I think what I would establish is whether we're talking seconds or minutes or hours or days, just give a unit of time, and it's going to take multiple of those. But that gives you an idea of how long you have.
Well, that would be determined at the actual event.
Well, that's
if it's a very fast skill challenge, then it could be seconds that we're talking about.
Yeah, that was my point to begin with, is that should have been established in the beginning. But if you do it that way, that's probably good enough. You don't need to be very specific. It doesn't need to be 5 seconds or 1 second.
Or kind of give you it's definitely not going to be much longer than kind of thing.
It is a matter of seconds. It is a matter of minutes.
Well, in that case, building on what I said before, if you decide, regardless of what the unit of time is, if you decide to take extra time, being say 4 turns longer than normal, then you miss the next 4 skill challenges. You spend 4 skill challenges worth of time doing this one task.
But that's only going to matter on certain things.
Yeah, some things it definitely would affect, but I think but I can see it both ways.
Like the lock picking.
If it's
it makes sense it makes sense in individual cases, but it's not a blanket rule that you could apply logically.
I agree. You probably couldn't do it, on a all the time basis. And I Brian, correct me if I'm wrong with the it sounded like you were going to say something, or if I'm reading right, in the instance of taking all the time in the world to do lockpicks, well, that's exactly what you're doing, is you're going to have to give something up to take all those bonuses. So it would only be fair at that point to, hey, well, you're not going to get, you're really trying to get this one success, but that just means everyone else has to be picking up the slack somewhere else and, making their roles separate, so that you're going to have to skip a year.
So if you took all the time in the world to do this one particular skill, then you would only make one contribution to the skill challenge, and that's it, and everyone else would have to make up the difference.
What if the timetable is based on days?
Well, it doesn't mean days, but okay. For example, you got the guy hacking into the bank, and he's got to sit there and crank away at his keyboard. In action, we were just making arbitrary time calls, but we all know that this might take tens of minutes, and you guys are all in the car shooting out the windows, driving, jinking left and right. Well, it doesn't generally work that he can provide any other success other than his one success, or to contribute to the entire success of the entire mission. So
yeah,
everyone
that's fine. That's fine. But if you are doing, for example, again, if you're doing a skill challenge that's based on days, and your attempt is lockpick, you can take all day.
Right, but we're not saying that it would always be the rule.
Well, that's that's what I'm attempting to say. You can't say that it's always the rule.
Well,
Right.
it'll be the GM to arbitrate whether, no, you can't do that, or, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's fine, but
exactly,
or,
I
yes,
would agree that there are actions that should probably, if you're going to take extra time, should probably overlap.
Yeah, then we're all in agreement, just coming at it from different,
But it is going to have to be a GM call at that point. What is
True,
actually going to take that
but-
long?
but
Because
but
if you're taking seconds and you're trying to hack, hacking takes hours.
right.
So you're only going to get one roll.
Or the GM, if it's going to be, seconds to hours, the GM could rule, no, hacking's not an option here.
Or that.
And that's valid too. Or that's why you have an NPC, whereas your primary PC gets his one roll, and everyone's doing their darndest to protect that PC, so he can do his one roll. And in the interim, it's like, just to keep you involved.
Yeah.
Here's an NPC to deal with.
Well, in that particular case, I don't think the hacking would really be even part of the skill challenge.
Sure. Well, I mean, it could be. It could be.
I guess you could.
It could force
justify it that way.
Hey, I failed this time after, hey, you guys have 4 skill challenges to his 1, or everyone has 2 skill challenges to his 1. If he fails his skill challenge, you have to do more, because it's taking more time, kind of thing.
Yeah. Anyway, are we done? Stream.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Yeah. Good night, stream.
See you,
Stream
stream.
out.
Farewell.
Good night, tell you one.
Avita saying adieu.